Hello, this is J.N.S, and I want to cover the outcome of this California reparations. Now, obviously, um, a lot of people, we just kind of, I have to say, I called it 8 months ago, and I'm going to show the proof of that. But obviously, we're going to go right into. I want to share my screen because I want to just show the main thing that they left out was the cash payment. And so there's a lot of hoopla with this. I've been saying that this was, let me put this into proper context because we're going to have a deep discussion about this because it's coming off of the backdrop of obviously the things that are happening to Black Americans in regards to ethnocide, obviously erasure, but what's happening on a deeper level, we'll get spiritual as well with this, but because it's much, much deeper. But pretty much, for the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years, there's just been this this big push for reparations. It's always been there. It really started in 2018, obviously with the ADOS movement. But as far as like the California Reparations Task Force itself, I want to say I believe they assembled in 2020 to 2021. Don't hold me to it, but I remember it coming together kind of in 2021, or at least that's when I found out that um, through an ex friend that there was some scuttlebutt about one of the ADOS members being removed from the task force. They were trying to assemble this reparations task force, and at that time, I do remember vividly being told that it was like, "Yo, they removed Tone Talks off of the task force and put someone else on there." And at that point, I was just like, "Okay, whatever." But the reparations movement, it's always been there. It's been going on for decades. Obviously, you have some shield organizations that got ahead of that decades ago, and hadn't really done anything with it in terms of moving the ball for reparations, in terms of its argument methodology, and whatnot. And so obviously you have some groups like Narcan and Cobra. They've been around obviously for years, and nothing has manifested from their work in the reparations movement. So in 2017, 2018, 2018 is when I heard of them, but I believe they had been around since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. A group called ADOS started to, bring reparations to the forefront, and that stands for American Descendant of Slavery. And, they really focused on the politics behind reparations in terms of making it political, and pushing it to the forefront. They focused on what they would call bringing the data. So focusing on the numbers in terms of the racial wealth gap, and the hardcore numbers and whatnot. And so I was introduced to them by someone I used to follow since I was 19. They introduced their audience to ADOS reparations. At that point, we had already been talking about reparations. It was just talk, though. It wasn't organized. Like, we had theoretically and ideologically wanted the reparations and whatnot. And so, but we were just, it was just an idea, not so much an idea. It was just um, kind of a grassroots, unorganized Black Americans just talking about reparations. So when ADOS came, it started to become more organized, started to have some more concrete data behind it. We were able to, look at some research, some back numbers, and I thought that was cool. And so and I don't know if he would call himself a founder or whatever, but when um, I'm going to say founder, and if it's offensive, then whatever. But the founder of FBA had introduced his audience to ADOS. At that time, that's how I found out about ADOS in 2017, I want to say. And so at that point, I was just like, looking through all their research, learning about, I went to like ados.org or some shit like that, ados101.org. So it was a website they had. And I remember looking through that with a fine tooth comb, like really like studying. It's like, okay, now this is how, the reparations would come to look. Like, this is how, it was just interesting. And so, at that time, uh, is when I really got heavily involved in that reparations movement. So fast forward 2020, I started to really think of like, well, what would a reparations package look like? Like, what would I like to see? And in my research, oh, it was so janky. I took the video down. I took that research down. It is completely off the internet. If it does come up, just know that that was in 2020, and I do not think that it was a cash payment in there, but the cash payment was way too low. I was talking about some African shit. It was just odd. So you have to forgive me. I didn't have all of the numbers and whatnot at that time. So when I was like putting out stuff on YouTube on my old channel, I did like come up with like my idea of what a reparations would look like in 2020, and I took it down. But in 2021, that's when we started to hear more noise about the task force in California. And so that's when that piqued my interest even more. I was really into this reparation stuff. And that's honestly when I went on Clubhouse, really to bang on them fucking Africans. I ain't gonna hold you. Because that's when the diaspora wars was going on. And so I was getting so triggered. I didn't have any control over my emotions. Yes, I admit it. And I went on Clubhouse to go run down some damn Africans. But then I ended up finding pockets of Black Americans that was really heavily into the reparations. And what was really cool was that people that was into the diaspora wars, they happen to also be into reparations as well. So it kind of like it kind of started to build some bonds around that. Like it felt really real. Like as far as the friendships and the connections, at least on my part, I came in here very naive, very genuine, very open. And just really wanting to bond with my people that were like-minded. So that was really, I was so ecstatic, like you have no idea, like orgasmic damn near, how it felt to find some Black Americans that I felt understood me, like they really understood, like the things that I cared about, the things that I cared about. That was major to me, like that I could have just and being able to talk for hours on end with them. And then maybe some of them were agents or I don't know shit, but it felt good. It felt really, really good for the first time in my life to find other Black Americans from all walks of life, all ages, different socioeconomic statuses, different education levels. It just felt so good. And we would talk for hours on end about reparations, about lineage, about culture, hours and hours. And so, believe it or not, one of the members of the task force, the California task force, Camilla Moore, she was actually one of them people. We would actually argue a bit on that Clubhouse thing, me and her. But I would say she'll probably never admit this, but I always know she had a mutual respect for me. I know she had a respect for me. We was on two sides of the coin with this Indian stuff. Like she really could not stand, us talking about the about the Black indigenous. So we would get into it a lot. We would, but when it came to my fire on that Black American reparation stuff, anytime I needed to go speak in her rooms, or anytime she always threw me a mic, she always let me get my shit off. But we did have some disagreements on that. We sure enough did, and but she always, I could tell that she respected my intellect and my fire. She'll never admit that because, the Freemans are supposed to be against, I guess, like the Black indigenous or some shit like that because we disagree on the African shit. But nonetheless, we ran in some circles where some of the people that had things to do with the ADOS/Freeman and reparation space, we were on Clubhouse. That's no secret. We were on Clubhouse for years. When Clubhouse initially came into inception, and so we would talk about the reparations. Many of the combination of what you see out in the forefront, especially when it comes to like late ass Twitter spaces, like that stuff that was on Twitter, like that, they was so late. A lot of that was there was a lot of social engineering put into what you see now, the manifestation of reparations in general. But believe it or not, we had a lot of private rooms too on Clubhouse. I'm not going to talk about what we discussed. It was just reparation stuff, but um with some of the, like, kind of like a think tank, and we would talk about, and some of the members were switching from ADOS to Freedmen, or they were just ADOS. It didn't matter. Some, they knew I was indigenous, they didn't care, and we would talk, you know, and whatnot. And the reason why I'm openly saying this, because I don't think it's any secret. I'm not sure. I'm not, you know, giving out any confidential information. Anything that we discussed is pretty much stuff that is now being that is now public information all over the internet, whether that be social media mainly, or stuff that was discussed in the task force itself. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't think I'm stepping on any toes when I say we talked on. And by that I'm talking about Black Americans in general in a reparation space. Um, and so, you know, we kind of just I started to, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I started to see the fallout with the members of the ADOS until Freeman. I remember vividly having privy information to what happened behind the scenes and what went on. I just didn't care about it. I'm just going to be very honest. I didn't care enough to talk about it, and I didn't care enough to um, really dig into that drama. I personally never agreed with Black Americans fighting or whatever, and I didn't totally understand the nature or the gravity of what was going on. I do see that now as a big psyop, but at the time, I clearly remember people that were ADOS falling out with Yvette Carnell and then switching over to Freeman, or even if they didn't follow with Yvette, whatever they was disagree with her methodologies, or what they disagree with the way she handled things, or whatever. I wasn't in ADOS, so I don't know. I literally cannot speak to any of that. I cannot speak to none of that shit because I have no idea. I don't feel comfortable speaking on it, and that's hearsay. I know what I was told by Freedmen's who fell out with her, who knew her personally, and they were saying all this stuff about her. And my thing is, you can't even really believe. You know what I mean? It's your side, their side, and then there's your truth. So can you really even believe what people said about somebody? And then we see the outcome of the reparations in California with them saying Freedmen's. So, you know, anyways, uh I remember seeing that drama take place. I didn't say much. And I also remember the formation of Freeman, clear as day. I remember the formation of Freeman, and I remember thinking that it was a cool idea. I didn't know necessarily the intricacies of the research behind it, but what little I did hear at that time. This was 2021, mind you. We're still in 2021. It's 3 years ago. I thought it was cool, you know. And I remember, clear as day, them trying to like bring me into this Freedman thing or telling me about it, and I thought I just was like, okay, can I see myself calling myself a Freedman based off of this research that they're showing me? It's all right, you know. But at the same time, I started to feel like this bureaucratic energy behind it as well. And so I always kind of felt that was odd, but for the most part at the time I thought that um when they talk about like, oh, we can use this in a legal manner and it gets us out of the race and da 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 da, and this is something that we had used at one point in history, and that Freeman could be a political status that could help us pass lineage based policies because of you can't do it by race. I said, okay, whatever, you know, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not a political head. I'm a scholar and a mystic, and so my mind it can't, I can't get into the weeds of politics all like that. I mean, I have interest in it, but you know, I'm more of a researcher, and so when people are saying, "Oh, this is be a status and stuff," I looked into it myself eventually. But at that time, I'm just saying, in 2021, I didn't. I just was like, oh, I ain't gonna hold you. I trusted what certain Black Americans were telling me about this stuff, and so um I never really went on record saying I was a Freeman. I think I entertained it like the first couple of months when they first came out on 2021, and then I just said, well, I don't feel completely Freeman. I felt like, you know, I'm still doing my genealogy. I didn't feel um, connected to it necessarily. So I don't know. It didn't really resonate with me. ADOS didn't really resonate with me either. Like calling myself ADOS, I never really did that either. It was no beef. Like I don't have no beef with none of these groups. I just it didn't. I saw the value of what we were doing in terms of all of this collation of concretizing identity and nomenclatures. I saw it as growing pains of trying to get to a set self identifier. And so in that regard, you were gonna have multiple. You're gonna have a bunch of shit come forward, pretty much. You're gonna have people gonna call themselves all these different types of things. And so, to me, as a sociologist, no, I did not get in the weeds of things of that nature. I didn't give a shit about that. As far as like the name stuff. Uh, so I did prefer to go by Black American or Black Indigenous or whatever. Even American Indian, I had considered that, but then I just like, nah, that just kind of take. I didn't feel connected to my people at that point. I don't feel a connection. It just saying American Indian, so I had scratched that. I'm just talking about on a personal level how I felt about these things, but it didn't resonate with me. As for in terms of naming myself that naming, but I respected many of the people that brought forth research and knowledge in those areas, whether they were ADOS, Freedmen, FBA, Black American, American Indian. If they came as an individual with solid character, they had my respect. And so that's how I look at it still to this day. Um, and so when I remember, it kind of felt like, if I'm going to be honest, sometimes I feel like there was with the whole reparations stuff, and I'm telling you, this stuff popped up on Clubhouse. Like the major people, like even with the organizations and all that stuff, we were all on Clubhouse before Twitter Spaces. It obviously, even when you see like some of the Freeman organizations and whatnot, and even again, Camilla was also on Clubhouse. You would be on there for hours on end talking about the reparation stuff and Black Americans and arguing with fucking Africans. And so I just sometimes I feel like that was a psychological operation. I really do. Sometimes I feel that way, that they were trying to get it really gauged. They were really studying grassroots Black Americans, people like me, scholars, because I wasn't the only one. I mean, it was a lot of Black Americans that are well known in reparation space that was on clearly on Clubhouse talking about this shit with me and with others, and just the way it all played out, I kind of feel like I really feel like that was governmental. I really feel I have a feeling that it was a bureaucratic governmental psychological operation. I really do. Based on the characters and the people that were involved. Now it jumped over to Twitter Spaces, and that was also they felt like they had really had popped it off, but I don't think they realized how it was like something that was a covert planned operation. I will never forget when one of the she's a Black elite. She tries to act like she's not a Black elite. She's a Black gatekeeper. She tries to act like she's not, but she is. I would never forget when she said, and I'm going to say some names in this video. Oh well, because some of the people that listen to me, the ones that do watch this video, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you're in the reparation space, it's most likely you're most likely the only one that's going to click on a reparations video if you're in the reparation space, right? So, but I'll never forget when this Black gatekeeper literally told the Black indigenous on Twitter Spaces, she said, "Y'all were preyed upon." She said, "I sent Cherie and April Showers over to scout you. You were a pawn." She didn't say the word pawn, but she said y'all were preyed upon. She told us to who would be called Secure the Tribe. And that flew over their heads. And you know what, as an intuitive, as a spiritual intuitive, you knew I knew that. I said, I think that this is a psyop. I didn't, for her to admit that. And this is a person that's really, really well connected into politics, like really, really well connected to power players. And she said, I sent Cherie and April Showers over to you guys to Secure the Tribe over there. And that's when they had that big old blow up space. but a couple weeks prior to that, there was two people that went over there to prime them for reparations. To get this energy going. And when she said that, and this was a person that, again, we had been behind the scenes and dealt with, and dealt with some people that other, just other Black people that were into the reparations, and we've discussed stuff in private rooms, and I'm thinking like, oh, okay, okay. But when she had said that, I remember a big alarm in my head went off. This was like late 2023. I'm sorry, late 2022. Sorry, late 2022. And that's when I said, "Oh, I think she scouted me too." That's when it hit me. I said, because she kept coming around me, wanting me to, just kept, you know, "Oh, you're brilliant. Oh, and we were gonna work together and whatnot. And at that time, I really was so happy to just see that there were some Black Americans that didn't sell out, who I perceived to have not sold out, or to who I perceived to have just been real niggas, like that had they shit together, but also wanted to be there for their people. And so I was excited about that. So I was excited about working with her, and I just I was just I would say kind of naive in a sense, because I didn't see it for what it was, and I was warned multiple times, and whatever. But anyways, when she said that to the Secure the Tribe folks, they kind of was arguing. So it was said in a heated argument, and so they never caught it. They didn't catch it. They just because they was going word for word, just wanting to get their shit out. But she had said it. She said, "Y'all, this was planned. Y'all acting." She said, "Y'all late. Y'all Johnny come lately. Y'all running around here thinking you done came up with the reparations space and all this stuff and da da da." And she let it be known y'all was plotted on. She said, you were preyed upon. I sent them over here to scout on you. We planned that. And I had always felt that shit. Because I had always felt like they were doing that with me. I'm like, I think that they, and no lie, I have said this to people. I have said this to people that actually know. I said, I think that they planning something. I think they got us in a psychological operation for reparations or something. So I could feel the government behind it. Like, I could just feel it. And I just find it funny that she had very close ties to the people in the reparations task force. By the way, the reparations bill, California. She had close ties with all of that stuff. And so now that I know that that's what it was suspected, but even that whole viral space that happened on Twitter about the reparations, that was all planned too. And I knew that I knew. I remember I had the other conversation. I had a conversation with someone, and I said, that was orchestrated from the top down. That I knew. Now, the people that's involved, the grassroots Black Americans, they probably don't know. But again, this is how things work. Because I didn't know. I'm a grassroots Black American. I just happen to see things that my mind works faster than the programmers, pretty much. It works faster than the social engineers. And so they were trying to bring me in to be a social engineer because my mind works faster than the people that's trying to program the psyops. I'm not trying to be arrogant or ego, because I've fell on my face a couple of times in that reparation space, But whatever they were planning, like with me and with the other Black Americans, a lot of it kind of fell flat because we could see it for what it was. Our hearts were was in a real space. Our hearts was in a real authentic space when it came to the reparations. A lot of it, we kind of felt, it could have been very cathartic and emotional in terms of there's a psychological profile of a person who would put their life on the line for some shit like that, right? Who would put their life on the line for their people, who would, and I would never forget the power broker, the Black gatekeeper said this. She said this to me too. We were having a private room. They all happened to be of a certain caliber. I was kind of the odd man out. I was the one with the least connections and whatnot, but we were all and I would never forget. She said, "There's a psychological profile of Black Americans that would be in this space." And I said, I was just listening to her because I honestly admired her mind. I think she's brilliant. I just think she's flip floppy, and I think she don't stand for how I perceive it is. I don't feel like she stand hard enough on things, and that could be from her own traumas, for her own shit. I don't have no judgments on it. I'm just, we fell out, and so we didn't fall out. It's just more so. I can get into that, but anyways, I'll never forget. She said there's a psychological profile of a Black American who would be into this space. She said these most likely people who have been traumatized as children, traumatized child. They don't have much. They come from poverty. They're usually very brilliant, but um they're traumatized. They're traumatized. They grew up a certain way. They've been radicalized, and when she said that, I was just thinking, because she was kind of explaining my life, and it just so happened that the most brilliant Black Americans that had been radicalized in that reparation space, we happen to have a certain background, whether that been so we just had some trauma, they could have been in the foster care system, adopted, um, you know, uh, all types of stories you would hear. And I think that, and like she said, they were trying to find grassroots Black Americans of that ilk. It's not a coincidence. Like they was finding, like, even if you, and I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna bring in some names, and there's no beef. There's no beef if I bring in a name, or I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to give some context. Even a situation like Marcel Dixon, Marcel for Congress. When you look at his background, his backstory with some of his folks on drugs, some of they like, but she mentioned his psychological profile, and I'm studying the people in our space, including myself. I'm like, yo, we all got a similar, similar background. Me and him, we have a similar background, so there is no judgment. I'm similar. I'm not from the South though, but as far as like the situation with the family members on drugs and broken home, that type of thing and whatnot. But I think my I don't know my story. I was in foster care system, and whatnot, and so it seemed like they were, again, when she mentioned that, and come to find out, this person, these same brokers, these gatekeepers or whatever, they were around the same Black folk, same people, around the same people that I'm mentioning. I just find it intriguing. And so that stood out, that psychological profile. I've never forget when she said that. And she said that in like 2021. Yeah, that was said in 2021. So this was before stuff really started to really pop off. It was starting to get popped off. And I remember, it was a group of 14 of us. Naeem was one of the people in that group. I don't know what that was about. I didn't ask to be in that shit. Somebody put me in that shit. I didn't ask. I didn't know what none of this stuff was about. I was just a nigga on the clubhouse shooting my shit about damn reparations and Black Americans and culture and the divine feminine, as usual, Black women, talking my shit like I always do. So I kind of just found myself, I'm looking like, why am I here? That type of thing. And then I had received a phone call, and I talked about all this stuff on a 5-hour video, actually, predicting that all this stuff would come out. I already knew the outcome of this reparations bill in California 8 months ago, and I had the proof that shows that I knew what was going to happen 8 months ago. And niggas try to play on my top like I just didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, or being a negative Nancy, or being an obstructionist, even worse. How dare you call me an obstructionist? But even worse, So they were saying this shit, and come to find out, everything that I said in that video plays out right now in 2024, 8 months later. But nonetheless, whatever. But this culmination of this reparation stuff that started to really like get its obviously, with ADOS, but then even on Clubhouse with the Freedmen formation and the battle between the Freedmen's and the American Indians, Black Indigenous. They're not the ones on Twitter space. This is a different one, but they call the quote unquote Clubhouse Indians, which is very disrespectful. I don't agree with saying that, but I'm just saying the Black Indians on Twitter space call the Black Indians on Clubhouse Indians. That's their little derogatory thing that they like to do. because they got beef too. Because one likes to call themselves black and the other one doesn't like to call themselves black. Stupid shit, whatever. As a sociologist, I find it so fascinating. But anyways, it was a lot of beef, man. It was a lot of people. Ooh, I mean, it got really juicy, and I just I ain't gonna hold you. I'm an observer, so I watch things, and I'm just looking like, mm-mm-mm. I knew I'm not gonna hold you, and I say this as a Black Indigenous. I knew that the Freedmen was gonna take the ball and run with it. I knew they were gonna crash, but I knew that they were gonna take the ball and run with it, though. I said, oh, they about to snatch this whole thing, though. I said they are not to be fucked with. Like the way they think. And then we were talking about the Freedmen's and a Black European mind, that conqueror mindset, that Moorish energy that comes out of certain Black Americans, right? And when I would hear the arguments between the Black Indigenous on Clubhouse and then the Black Freedmen's, and then we would go at it. Even ADOS would get in there, and the FBA's it just kind of just wanderers. And to be honest, I have more ideological resonance with those who call themselves FBA because just from my walk into this whole space. But I kind of felt like they're not the I don't want to say that. That sounds so rude. But they couldn't hold their own against, like, say, like the Freedmen's or the ADOS, because they are politically astute and they tend to be very, very educated. I'll just say that. I could hold my own with them. They know that. I will probably walk circles around them. And so I'm not, even though I have more ideological, I'm not saying that for all FBAs. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you would, if you observe it objectively, just observe it objectively, and you would see like these arguments. And we're talking about grassroots Black Americans. We're not talking about anybody that would be perceived as a leader or a founder or anything. We're just solely talking about just the conversations and the dialogue on the grassroots level, and me observing as a sociologist. And I would say, damn, them Freedmen's. And I would tell my friends this. I said, they are very, very organized. It may not be for the best intentions. They might not have the best intentions. It may be for a bag, whatever, as people calling them fraudmen and all that. I don't care what you say. I'm not here to say they are or they not. But I will say is I said, they're going to out-organize everybody on this. That doesn't mean they're going to succeed. It just means that I knew they were going to out-organize everybody in 2021. And I told my friend that, I said, they got that Black European blood. They think like conquerors. They think like Moors. And they're gonna link up. They about to form like Voltron on that ass and try to take over that reparations space. They sure is, and they about to start these fight. And start these organizations. They about to try to get these bags, but they rack up some nonprofit money. And I saw the play for what it was. Now, I was hoping that I was wrong, and I was also hoping, when I say about as far as like this play of this 5013C energy, I was hoping I was wrong on that, and I was also hoping that there would be revolutionary spirit within that Freedmen, within the Freedmen collective. I was hoping that they would have real ideologues, for one, real writers, and at least one revolutionary that would push, fight hard. And so I said, well, if they're going to take over the reparation, if they're going to, obviously with the reparations bill in California and whatnot, and I said, well, if they're going to go that route, let's just hope that they have we have to see if they're really riders. And I said this in 2020. So let's see if they really, 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 because on Clubhouse they appeared to be, really grassroots. I kind of knew. I ain't gonna hold you. I kind of knew Camilla was taking cues from me and well as other people, as far as what we would say, and because she came off very elitist. Like, to be honest, she was a turnoff to a lot of the grassroots Black Americans when we first got on Clubhouse. And I remember she would listen and learn. She would listen to hear what we were saying, and then she would mimic what what was said. But I remember when she had she would turn off so many. I would never forget when she asked. She had she said, why are y'all not listening to y'all to y'all gatekeepers? I'm sure she probably got a recording of it, but I'll never forget. She was like, why y'all not listening to your elites, the Black American elites? And she started naming like all these bougie ass niggas. Oh man, them Black Americans had a fit. Oh, and I remember defending, because some of them they couldn't really articulate. These are some hood niggas. I mean, it was hood motherfucker. Dude. So I'm trying to get up there, and I'm like, let me just speak for them, because I already, and I said, because y'all sell us out, y'all niggas, y'all know y'all wrong, y'all sell us out, y'all, you know, and I had to say it in a more palatable manner, because it was like a actual discussion, you know, and you know, you can't just get up on the stage cursing and acting a fool, you know, with, you know, in these little audio apps or whatnot. So, but I had very eloquently stated, I'm like, you know what, you know, we don't perceive you guys as being for us. You know, we don't perceive, we don't feel like we have, actually, it's not even a feel. It's like we have the history, we have the data, the way that you guys have voted against us, and in terms of our Black caucus, the black politicians, the black scholars. The black scholars are owned by academia. They don't speak. We don't have black scholars like Frantz Fanon or Francis Cress Welsing. I am literally the only one left, last of the Mohican. And you have Umar Johnson that's in the trenches, and obviously you know Claude. I'm talking about young. I'm not talking about like a Claude Anderson or you know Neely Fuller. I mean, come on, they're in their 80s. I'm talking about young, 30s. We don't have that shit no more. You don't have that. You don't have real ideologue academics that push intellectualism in the public sphere for the people. They all liberal academics that talk about some bullshit that be like, what? Huh? Hmm? And so that's another reason why the Black American grassroots don't really care for like a lot of the Black American scholars anymore. They should, though. They should look for, if they have a real one, they should back them. But they don't. Because everybody wants to be the chief and not the Indian. Everybody wants to. They'll rather swag jack your shit or jack your shit and then try to and take credit for it. That's what Black Americans do these days. Unfortunately, to their scholars and to their leaders, they don't respect rank or hierarchy. So that's a tangent. But anyways, I remember that, and I was just thinking like, she's out of touch, you know. But then she got her shit together. She listened to us consistently, you know, talk our shit. She listened to like some of us, our grassroots, and then I would say within 2 weeks she was talking just like us. I was like, damn, I was a switch up. But I was hoping. I said, well, maybe that's just her, you know, like maybe she, you know, she's getting it and she's learning. She's willing to listen. And so at that time I gave her the benefit of the doubt. But I remember clear as day thinking when she first got on there when she was talking, I remember thinking, ain't no Black American gonna rock with that shit. It was a lot of arguments. Then next thing you know, she was talking just like us. And I said, okay, whatever. But then, you know, this energy started to take off where I just knew. I said, when I started seeing the Freedmen's Forum, you know, and I seen how organized they were and how connected they were, you know, and it's kind of seemed like I said, maybe they know each other, or maybe they're in like some secret society or something. I don't know. Maybe they fucking, I don't know. But I said, oh, they about to take the ball. They about to take the ball and run with that bitch. Because the Black American Indians, we couldn't get on board. Like we was talking about reparations and restitution and stuff, but they was wild, always wanted to argue, fight. You know, ADOS wanted to, you know, I don't know. ADOS was doing their own thing. I don't know what the hell was going on with them. And FBA wasn't thinking about politics and so what. But I said them Freemans, they about to take it up to the so they about to run it. And that's when we started to see some things. To be honest, we started to see some things that didn't sit too right with the grassroots and with Black Americans in general. When it came to the reparations task force in the bill itself. Now, when Tone Talks was taken off of there and they put Camilo on there, I saw it. Here's the thing. People talk to me about it and try to tell me what to think about that situation. And it kind of made me feel uneasy because I didn't know what to believe, and I didn't know if that person was so truthful. But they made it seem like there was like this sinister, this horrific thing plotted by, I guess, the whoever was behind, uh, to take ADOS out of the picture, and that means Tone Talks, and then to put Camila on there. I was told that that's how it went, and I was told that she was grimy and that was her behind it. Do I believe that? I don't think that she had the power to, and maybe she does, but I personally didn't believe it at the time, only because the person that told me that had beef with her, and so I couldn't believe it. I can't go off of that. I can't. I could so. Um, and based on what I know behind the scenes and what I know how that stuff roll, I don't think she had the power to take no damn Tone Talks off of that damn task force. I don't. I think that it was above them, both of them. I still think I think it was a concerted effort to get ADOS out of the picture. I do. I do think that they wanted to neutralize ADOS and to because the thing is with ADOS, they don't strike me as like no rah rah, niggas. They into politics, but I do think they would fight. I do think that they would have been headstrong on certain things, to the end, including cash payment. I think that Tone Talks would have went out swinging on that. I do. And no, I don't. They were kind of always dry to me. Again, I was introduced to them by that nigga Tariq, and so I tried to get into, like, the things they were doing. I've looked at the data, and I always respected it, but um I can't say that I was just like, like, following them or anything like that. But I just respected the work they did, and I don't feel like just because I don't agree with everything that I gotta take their credit away or try to discredit them or try to act like I wasn't influenced by their research. That to me is dishonorable, personally. And so I'm not going to act like I didn't learn some things from them, even if I did feel, even if you don't agree with everything, whatever. But I will have to say, just as me observing, I do think that to the end, Tone Talks would have been loud on that cash payment and loud on just the lineage and all types of other stuff. I think that would have, because they had the whole backing of that whole ADOS grassroots movement. You have the ADOS people itself that is lineage, cash, and so I don't think that he would have ever turned on his following for whatever was going on with with reparations. How do I say it? For what California had in mind for their reparations. That's what I'm saying. So I do think he would have went out swinging on that. And so um, I personally do think that there was a concerted effort to get them out the picture. And I do think it was governmental. And I do think it was above the level of anything that uh, I think the Freemans might have went along with it, but I don't. And I think they might have put bugs in the ear or whatever. But I don't think it was one particular Freeman that had the power to do that. I don't. But nonetheless, it's political. So they got his ass off of the task force, and they put her on there. And I knew just from my observations of her when she first got on Clubhouse, I said she's not an ideologue. She's not certainly not a revolutionary. Um, and I said, oh, I said we'll see. That's all I said. I said we'll see, because she was learning from grassroots, and she was taking some of the talking points, and and she was she really obviously believed in reparations. She it's not like she but just because someone believes in reparations doesn't mean that it's reparations for the people or for what we would look at reparations to be. And so with me, I just kept an open mind, but I always had, you just got one eye motherfucking open. You kind of looking like, yeah, I'm watching the whole thing, watching it, because the indigenous never liked it. Black indigenous, it was always in my ear, day in and day out, about how it was fraudulent stuff going on, how they was not doing the paperwork right. And then we started to see that. I'm not going. Y'all come at them clubhouse Indians and say they this and they that, and the clubhouse Indians this. You can hate them all you want, but they pushed a lot of shit in that reparation stuff, and I don't like how people try to take things from people. Nah, they contributed a lot behind the scenes. They were also the people that were being studied to even reformulate on the bill, and as far as the talking points and whatnot. They were the muse for a lot of the work. Um, and personally, just for me talking with them, they would wake things up. They woke stuff up, and then the clubhouse, the Black Indigenous on Twitter started waking stuff up. Those that call themselves Secure the Tribe or just Black Indigenous on Twitter, because I think they had a rift. They fell out as well as of recently. But anyways, they started to really talk about they was telling me like that legalese is not right, that paperwork is not right. They call them this African American. They talking about this stuff from the transatlantic slave trade when they should be talking about it being in America, blah blah blah. And so there was some scuttlebutt around all of that. It was just a mess. And but I listened to them, and I started to look at the stuff myself. I was looking at their research, I was looking at the paperwork, I was looking at, and I started to slowly see myself. I said, nah, something ain't right with all of this. It felt bureaucratic. It felt like a play. It started to feel like a play. I'll share this. I'll share this. So as you can see, like clearly, I've been talking about this for a minute. I'll scroll to some video. Excuse me. But let's see. So going back to a year ago, I had some conversations. These videos are talking about reparations. Conversations with Black Americans, part 2. Conversation with Black Americans, part 3. That's talking about reparations. This one, anti-genocide theoretical framework for Black American reparations. That's a year ago. And so I've been talking about this for a while. And then Hold the Line, Black Americans Addressing Delineation. That's a video on reparations a year ago. And then here go some of my more recent ones where I was talking when I really started to see that something wasn't right. And that's when I did this video, All Reparations Claim. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. That's when I did All Reparations Claim Must Start in America and not with the transatlantic slave trade. And here's why. And that's when I talked about the Indian slave trade and the specific slave trade, that it is empirically proven that Black Americans were caught up in all three. I wasn't denying the transatlantic slave trade. I was just merely stating that, hinging the whole claim on based on Africa transatlantic slave trade, that it was on its premise weird to me, because it's been proven that Black Americans have been, we can't prove which one we come from. Not even the ones that claim that they're from the transatlantic slave trade, they can't actually prove it either. And some of these motherfuckers is talking about their wars and stuff. So you might be a nigga that came over from Ireland or from Spain over to America as a colonizer, as a Black European. And so, to me, I found it laughable when I saw the Freeman pushing at this transatlantic slave trade shit. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. And so this was a scholarly video detailing the Pacific slave trade and the Indian slave trade, as well as some of this. There was slaves from the continent of Asia brought over here as well, 300 years ago, that mixed in with Black Americans and whatnot. And so it was a lot going on. And so to me, I always felt that it should start at American slavery. And I always felt that we should be going by a nomenclature that was that our people was majority comfortable with. At that time, we did not want to be called African American. There was very few Black Americans from all lineages. I'm sorry, from all splinter lineages, whether that had been ADOS, FBA, Freeman, what's the other one? Solon, Negro, Black Indigenous. None of them wanted to be called African American. And so by consensus, and you can, quantify it. I'm sure you could have did a survey or whatever, but majority of Black Americans did not want to be called African American. So I felt that we should go with what we want to be called with, whether that be Black American or whether you pick a new fucking name. But I think that the best bet would have most likely to been go with Black American. At least for now, and they say the Black is dead and stuff, whatever. But well, all of that started to get all convoluted. It just was a mess. But my point was that, what did the Black Americans themselves want to call themselves? Now whether they want to get into a political legal debate about whether they should be using Black or not, grassroots niggas is not thinking about that. Black Americans are not thinking about that. They thinking about what you ask them what they want to call themselves. Most of the time they were saying Black American. It's as simple as that. That was the end of it. And so to me, as a scholar, even though I know the situation with the legalese and the way the federal government has the definition of Black in law, even today, even though I know that, I said, I'm not about to sit up there and argue with Black Americans about this. They telling me they want to be called Black Americans, so fucking be it. Whatever. But that's not what happened with California reparations. The Freedmans, in particular, we have some characters that we can actually by name. They went against the wishes of the Black American grassroots and decided to still go with African American against the wishes of millions and millions of Black Americans. That was a red flag, and so I called that shit out, and I felt that it was offensive. Not because of my own my own ideological hangups about being Black, Indigenous, whatever, because I'm not fully Indian. I have Indian ancestors, of course, but I'm not a full American Indian. Like, there are Black Americans that are more American Indian than me, and I recognize and I honor that, and I don't take that away from them. But for me, this wasn't a matter of, oh, I don't want to be called African. I'm not fucking African. It's just none of us are. I don't see my people as Africans. I see us as Americans, Black Americans, copper, whatever. I don't know. You know, it's like I just see us as a distinct people from African American. That's just me. And so I also made a video talking about how the term African American is incorrect for Black Americans and breaking that down historically. So we went all the way back to the history of when the terms came into play and the nomenclatures, as well as the splinter groups that existed back then in the 1800s and when this word was first used. And it wasn't first by Jesse Jackson. I understand that, but it wasn't collectively used ever, even in the 1800s when it first came about. Or you guys say 17 with the parade in the newspaper. That was by a specific group of people, just like the Freedmen's a specific group of people. The African Blood Brotherhood was a specific group of people, and that motherfucker was from the Caribbean that started that. It's mighty funny, you know, that the people that had this African and Methodist and all this stuff, these weren't, you know, it was a splinter. It was people calling themselves Negro and colored at the same time that they were that group, that there was some people using the African American term, but it was never collective. It was never collective census on it ever. And so that was also a point of mine. And so in this 5-hour video right here, Pan-Africanism is dead and introducing the entrusted melanism framework. That was pretty much my exit out of the reparations space. I still continue to talk about reparations throughout, you know, because it was very cathartic. It was a passionate work for those years, and so. But this was kind of like when I knew what it was going to be. This right here, 8 months ago, 5 hours and 25 minutes. This is my longest video on this fucking channel. You know, good and hell well that I must have been really passionate about something if I'm talking about for 5 hours and 25 minutes. I was crying in this video. I was telling my life story. I was pouring out my soul in this video. I was singing in this damn video. But I was really talking about the reparations space, because that's when I kind of knew what it was. I said, this shit ain't what we think it is. As they dangling a carrot in front of our eyes. It's a Democratic play. The California shit, whatever they're trying to get Newsom to run for president. And or make some deals with Newsom and using reparations to, you know, some with the black vote. I just felt it. I felt that it was a psyop, and I felt that it wasn't genuine anymore, and that I knew that the reparations task force was not going to have cash payment. I knew that 8 months ago, and I said it. I said you lost leverage. You ain't got, and I gave literally high level military style strategies on how to run a psyop and how to gain control over the narrative of reparations in this video. This is shortly after there was assassination attempts on my life. But this video right here is when I was going in. And you know, I got Thomas and Carol Darren Sales with me, so you know I must have been really going in and motherfucker. Then I had played my book that I talked about parallel infrastructure building for melanated people globally, obviously with the Black Americans as the leaders and Black Americans in general. And so, yeah, I went in, and that video, this entrusted melanism framework. I wasn't me going back to Pan-Africanism, because I'm not a fucking Pan-Africanist. But for me, it was more so like, how do melanated people start to build their own parallel infrastructures for empowerment if they are inculcated around systems that literally don't give a damn about them? That literally just don't. And I saw that. I said 8 months ago, I said, they're not about to do nothing substantial for our people. They're not. And then I also knew the people in that task force wasn't going to do shit either. They was thinking, I mean, it was a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot that we went through. We saw it. We saw them waking it up about Gabe Pamonte. We saw all that shit. We saw the Black Indigenous making videos talking about, you know, the Freedmans, the stuff they was doing with Liberation Ventures, with the MacArthur Foundation, Narcan and Cobra, CJ, um, Nasty, Friday Jones going up there acting the fourth, the thing going at Tariq. Like we saw all that shit play out in real time, and that shit was real. That was a lot for us. For those of us that's just like that's kind of naive in a sense, because we got on, like, some of us got on whole government fucking watch list, surveillance, like you'll never believe. Every move fucking watch, everything you do. Like a lot of us, we were collateral damage and all of that, you know. And so I took hits, like we took, like the real ones took hits. Like the rest of these niggas, they get to run off with a bag or the MacArthur Foundation bag, or, you know, and we were warned. We were warned. I remember them indigenous niggas, they told me, they said, these niggas live in $2 million, $1 million houses. They don't give a shit about fighting for no reparations for your ass, girl. Wake up. They don't care. What is you doing? And they was trying to let us know. They were trying to let us know. They like, a nigga that's a millionaire, that's a black millionaire, that's a gatekeeper, or even a controlled opposition, does not give a damn about getting no big ass reparations check for y'all. So y'all can stop trying to, you know, act like y'all about to, you know, they were, and we thought they were being so negative, and they were saying all y'all about to do is it's a honey trap. Like not a honey trap, but it seemed like it was a way to get certain people on the list. And I know for a fact that unfortunately I made that watch list. I made that list, and I'm still dealing with the consequences of this stuff. And so these niggas that they got off on the bag and they radicalized Black Americans. These niggas, these is in Black men in particular, you know, they radicalized these Black Americans, and the women too, you know, especially. And they take a bag and they run off with millions, and then they'll leave like the real radical revolutionary woman, female out, like Corinne Gang situation with Sandra Bland. They'll leave them motherfuckers out to look fucking die. Even worse, if they don't die, there's some of us that's literally blacklisted, that is being targeted and target harassment, all types of shit, and ain't nobody there to help us. But these niggas, these gatekeeping niggas, and these controlled opposition, they done ran off, and they it was a play from the get go. And I think it was also a honeypot to see who's in the grassroots that really got that fire, who's in the grassroots that's really an ideologue, that has potential influence, or that is too intellectual. And so anybody of that nature was put on a list. They were. I'm one of those people. I'm saying that because it's so obvious, and a lot of Black people know more. A lot of Black Americans know what's up, and I don't know if they're under oath or whatever, but they know my situation in particular, and they're very quiet. They get very, 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 very quiet, uncannily quiet when it comes to my situation. That makes because they know. It's not because they know and they have to turn a blind eye. And so, you know, I deal with it. It is what it is. I'm not complaining because I'm very blessed spiritually, and and I know who I am spiritually as well. And so I'm not here to complain or anything, but given the circumstances of us in that space, literally talking about the government, and, you know, and being an author, being a writer, being an intellectual, being a scholar, and also clairvoyant, the government also knows that, but also having spiritual gifts and intellectual gifts, they targeted certain people in that movement. They targeted me. And it was done by our own people. That's what I'm coming to the conclusion, that it was Black niggas that kind of fed us to the wolves of the other Black niggas. And they was already clicked in with the government. So they got their bag, and they got they kickoffs. And so that the ones that was really serious, like, oh, we about to go and we about to run up in that bitch and write that check our motherfucking self. Like, that's how we was. We about to go up in that bitch and write that check our motherfucking self. That was very dangerous. You know, like that that just made us, that just put a big ass bull eyes target on our back. And maybe there was some appeal to that. Maybe because we felt so inculcated or insulated around our people, we would fight together, but that's not how that works. That's not how it works. Anyways, yeah, 8 months ago, I already was telling y'all niggas that y'all not getting no cash payment, and that shit was gonna turn out the way it turned out, and that it was a Democratic play, and that there was gatekeepers involved, and that them Freeman niggas was selling us out and all that stuff. We already knew that. I said that 8 months ago. I was not the only one to say it. We have to give credit where credit is due. It was first woken up, honestly, in 2021. The end of 2021. Who y'all call the clubhouse Indians, the black indigenous was screaming to the top of their lungs what was going to happen. Screaming to the top of their lungs of these people. Then 2022 comes, the black indigenous that's more active on Twitter started saying stuff about it. Just really going in on Twitter. Just really going in like, oh my gosh, we have to call this out. We have to call this out. And it just kept getting, we just started seeing the manifestation of the stuff that was told that they said was going to happen. That there was a fight. I mean, in 2021, it was saying they about to start a bunch of 501(c)(3)s to get a bag out of this shit. Right? Call y'all motherfuckers African Americans. Say, put this stuff with this African stuff. Act like they grassroots and pass some fucked up janky ass bill. If not, actually have y'all selling y'all soul to get a check as black Americans. And so that's where we're at. That's what happened. So in the reparations bill, as you can see, let me share this. Leave out a key ingredient, cash. The California Legislative Black Caucus has proposed several ideas about how to offer reparations to black people. Cash payments isn't one of them. You see that. Ever since California's Reparations Task Force completed a report last summer on systemic abuse and discrimination by black people that face California across the U.S. Blah, 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 blah. You guys know this. So the proposed bill for a formal apology from the governor and state legislature for California's history of anti-black racism, proposed financial aid for people in red line communities to get vocational training, and would ban hair discrimination in California athletics, among other things, but no cash payment. While many other associate the direct cash payment with reparations, the true meaning of the word to repair involves much more. Assemblywoman Lori Wilson, chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, said in a news release. The conference approach this man. Comprehensive approach is money, motherfucker. Let me stop because I know I don't ruffle some feathers. I know I don't ruffle some people, some powerful people's feathers. They came after my black ass, man. So I talk my shit, and it really cost me, man. But I'm still here because it's costing them too in the spiritual realm. Because this is the occult as well. These are some occult ass niggas as well, y'all. So the report also recommended monetary compensation, but left it to lawmakers to decide on it. Historian and economic scholars. There's some opposition from black Californians. The cash payments aren't in the proposed bills. Doesn't come as a complete surprise. California Gavin Newsom told Fox News last year that dealing with the legacy of slavery is much more than cash payments, in short. And remember when he said that, when Newsom said the legacy of slavery is much more than cash payments, I knew right then and there. I said, shit. And then the way that Camilla handled that, that's when I knew. I said, my suspicions about her were correct. When the way she handled that is much more than cash payment, and how the Freemans try to smooth that over for him instead of getting his ass. And one thing we say about ADOS, they would have gotten his ass. ADOS would have gotten his ass about that. I ain't gonna hold you. They would have cussed his ass out. The thing is, everybody wanted to get along, so they let a lot of things slide. I remember when Gavin said that, and so many people came at his neck, and then the Freemans was calling us obstructionists for going at him for saying that shit. Like, we were getting called obstructionists for saying, oh, hell no, it's about cash. And they was looking at us like, y'all messing up the whole flow. Y'all messing up our bag because y'all too radical. Y'all don't know how to talk. Y'all don't know how to, and I'm very educated. And I went to Columbia University. That don't really mean much, but beyond just, even if I would have never stepped foot in the university, I was always brilliant. I was always a genius child. So I didn't have to go to universities to give me intelligence. But even by their standards and systems, I would be. Even their metrics has always, to me, been skewed. I personally think that they don't measure, like, say, they make you take a GRE and a SAT and all this shit. Like, that shit don't mean nothing. No, it certainly doesn't measure intellect. I'll just say that. It measures how well you can conform, obviously, and how much you are inculcated in Western indoctrination and in their forms of education. But it doesn't measure intellect. And so they were calling us dummies. They were calling us dummies, stupid, and obstructionists and all. It's like they wanted us to turn a blind eye to what was going on. And so when I saw that happen, I said, "Oh, okay." And so then obviously it came out with that there was like 1.5 million given to CJEC or some shit like that, and they've been marketing. It was just a bunch of shit going on, and then it was like I think Nasty took money from Liberation Ventures, which funds Cobra and NARC, and they are funded by like the Rockefellers and George Soros or some shit like that. It was just like before our eyes. And guess what? They didn't think us niggas was gonna find that out. We weren't supposed to find none of that stuff out. We weren't. We were supposed to be some dumbass Negroes that's just go along, and we were supposed to be getting so excited and happy about reparations. We was not supposed to do none of that research. We weren't supposed to find none of that out. We weren't. It was, but we did, and that's what kind of blew it up, blew they play up, and blew their reputation up. They'll never they could feel it, but the grassroots Black Americans, people that they when they do follow that, even if they were to look back on history 50, 100 years from now, and to look at this whole thing and really study it, they're going to see it for what it was. It was a psychological operation, government play. They're going to see that, and they're going to see that, it looks like that beef between ADOS and Freeman, that was a psyop to neutralize ADOS. And that there's some bureaucratic bullshit with the Freeman. Now, if all of them frauds, I don't know. I was one of the ones that was very diplomatic, very, very, very much into like, we got to be diplomatic, and some of these aren't people, but I have to admit that something ain't right with that stuff. Something ain't right with it, Some of it, obviously, you get convoluted because there's actual history of Freeman. There's actually a term that we used, and so you have to. How do you separate that from the shisty, weird ass characters that's calling themselves Freeman? You know what I mean? So you have to separate that too. And then you have to realize that there are regular Black Americans that are good people that call themselves Freeman, that have nothing to do with, that have no connections to none of that shit that happened in California or none of this shit that happened with the reparations, right? And so it's like, how do you compartmentalize all of that? But it's a reality. It's a reality because there is a history of Freeman. There is a history of the Freeman's Bureau and whatnot. And so you can't deny that. But then you have fake ass weird motherfuckers that's trying to use that as a play for themselves and take 10% off the top and all this shit stuff of the reparations payment and distribute the reparations from a Freeman's Bureau agency and all this stuff. And then it's like, what? Huh? We didn't even get, where the fuck is the cash payment? It's like, they jumped. They wanted to build a bureau and distribute our fucking cash payment and take 10% off the top, and then didn't even fight for the cash payment. Y'all would have had to drag my ass up out of that task force. I would have been, Camilla should have been arrested. The way she should have been fighting for that cash payment up to the last very breath. Y'all ain't about to have me in the history books, and I ain't say nothing about no motherfucking cash payment. Nah, hell no. She should have been out there fighting, acting a damn fool. Somebody would have got punched in the face fucking with me. Somebody would have got punched. Talking about something about some hair discrimination. Now somebody would have had to got slapped in that damn. And that's just me. But it ain't no way in the world I'm just gonna be so docile like that. Like, no, we said cash payment. Where the fuck is the cash payment? We said y'all want to do this American Freeman agency and shit. Okay, that might be cool. But that should have all been lined out too. Like, whole thing was a fucking mess. But nah. That's why they know. That's why they kept certain people. They wanted to bring us in, but when they realized, like, yo, they too serious. Like they too, like, nah, this is a play. This is a money for us. Like, y'all niggas is up here running around here talking. Remember they had them rallies and they had niggas out there with guns. And I'll never forget when one of the indigenous teachers, he said, he's laughing at it because he saw it for what it was. He said it's a play. He said he started laughing because he was like, y'all messing up their bag. Y'all out there real serious. Y'all literally out there with guns, running around there with guns. Reparation. Y'all running around there, and that was I want to say the Black Panthers that did that, but the new ones. So it wasn't all Black Americans, and y'all up here running up to the cat. running up to the podiums talking crazy, talking about, where's our money? We need money. And they like, look, we ain't. But I'm telling you, they kept certain people away. They was trying to bring us in. I was one of the people that was trying to bring me in, and then, I'm like, Kylie too radical. She can't. She ain't gonna go around with that. I went with it. You would have heard my mouth to the very end. Cash, motherfucking payment. Cash payment. And they don't want niggas like us like that. Oh no, task force like that. They want niggas that's gonna toe the line. That's gonna for the system. But even if you didn't have the power to make the move because you just a member of the task force, you just a chairwoman, your ass should have been fighting all the way to the end. They should have been dragging your ass out there in handcuffs. You would have got out of jail. Shit. You would have been dragging your ass out. But I guess people be like, no, because it's like, then you get blacklisted and you can't work again and all that stuff. I guess for me, shit, I wouldn't have cared, but that's just me. But maybe I should care. Maybe that's the wrong approach. I don't know. But to me, it's like, if we say cash payments, that's what the fuck that means. Right? No? Look what they're doing. Okay, let's put this in the context. And I'm also off for all of this, by the way, because I've pivoted, and I do think that I see that this is so much more bigger than what we'll ever think as Black Americans. But let's be real. They're giving these migrants big ass credit card checks. They're giving migrants free hotels, free apartments. So many Black Americans is homeless. They're not even migrants. These are literally illegal immigrants that they are giving the right to vote. Free credit, loans, credit cards, cash payment on a prepaid debit card and shit. You could look this shit up. This is real shit. They are giving illegal immigrants stipend monthly money, cash payments. You know what I mean? Cash payments to illegal fucking immigrants. This is what the Democrats are doing. Republicans ain't shit either. I'm just saying this is what the Democrats are doing. That you love to go and vote for to the tune of 96%. What kind of bullshit is that? How could illegal immigrants get? And remember when with the kids in the cage and shit, they was trying to, the Biden administration, you up for review when you mention them. But anyways, they was giving they was proposing a plan to get them niggas $400,000 a piece for being locked in a cage or some shit like that. For, I guess, from sneaking over a border for illegally violating someone's country. They were going to give them $400,000 a piece for that. And I think they're still considering it, if I'm not mistaken. They certainly got them up in hotels and all this stuff. And we saw that. Remember the white folks was getting mad because they was showing them putting the illegal immigrants on Delta Airlines, Delta planes, flying them all around, showing white folks pulling out their phones, saying, look at what they doing. They got all of these illegal immigrants that just came off the border, and they flying for free on the Delta Airlines and shit. And then they were showing them going into the hotels. Look at the hotels they get to stay in. They were showing it. They were very pissed. And it's like that's a whole thing. It's the erasure thing because they realize I'm gonna keep it real with Black Americans. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real as a scholar. I'm one of the last of your Mohegans left. It brings tears to my eyes to say that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. I wouldn't say the things that I said if I wasn't. You can't say the things that I say or publish the stuff that I've published and be welcomed into that system. Do you know that you guys don't even really read my shit, but if you ever study my body of work, and one day someone will, hundreds of years from now, and oh my gosh, this person literally was asking for it. Like, what the hell was she thinking? It is not one scholar in the world that has written some of, besides obviously your Franz Fanon. We're talking about in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020. It's been a crackdown. Everybody's bailed out. Your most radical scholars who you think they all bailed out, even the white ones, they used to be for the people and all that stuff. Your public intellectuals that really speak truth to power, they all bailed out. When 2020 came, I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know if everybody took a bag. Where was they handing out bags? I showing, well, they tried to offer me a bag. I ain't gonna hold, they tried to bring me in. I just couldn't get it. My mind can't formulate that kind of thing. It's like, no, this is the truth. This is right. This is the truth. And so it's like you're trying to alter someone's whole literal DNA to do something that is literally, they can't do it. Their soul can't do it. The soul can't bring themselves to do it. I can't. I don't know what it is. I can't. It's like for the longest, this shit hasn't been serving me. I don't get a bag off this shit. I don't make no money off of this shit, and I still couldn't walk away. And find something else to do that was more productive with my time as a woman, a single woman that has no protection and no first line of defense, and who was surrounded by black gatekeeping vulture niggas that would sell me out. They already tried, and so for me, you know, it I think they knew that, and it was like, we have to. They did. They were like, we have to just let you know that, like, this is a play. This is how it goes, sweetie. We not that serious. You. We don't care about. We really actually don't care about like about the reparations. This is what they're trying to let me know. Like, what are you doing? And for me, it was like, well, no, like, I just couldn't get it. I couldn't wrap my mind around what that meant. To know that my life's work and the things that I care about in terms of, wanting to build like intentional communities, wanting to have, wanting to see that equity and wanting to see things go right for Black Americans. To know that it was hard for me to swallow that some of the people that I thought really cared about that shit really didn't care about that shit. That was hard to swallow, for one. For two, having to come to that crossroads of having to make a decision on what I was going to do. And to me, knowing that in my DNA and in my soul, on a God level, as a God, that I can't do something that I know doesn't align with the higher order of the universe. It doesn't align with the higher order of godliness. And so for me, it's like that's a no-go. Because we are all wired. We have a biological hardwiring and a psychological hardwiring. All of us do. Because we all have soul missions and things that we've come here to do. It's things that we believe in, principles that we adhere to. Some of us are higher order beings, literally, in human flesh, right? And so, it's very hard to get someone like me to bend or to sell out it would be very, very, very incredibly hard based off my bloodline, literally my literal DNA genetic marker. And I'm saying this because I do know of at least one other person that's in my direct blood, not my adopted, but my direct bloodline, that they tried to break and make a tool, and he, in this system, and he had to walk away and whatnot, and try to the best of his capability of how they tried to break. And now I guess they figured they try to do it to me or whatever. But I do know that there's stuff in our DNA and there's stuff galactically, cosmically, that would prevent, for one, that from happening. For two, it's a very powerful bloodline, but it's one in which we do adhere to ethics and integrity. And there is no unrighteousness. There is no selling out of the people. There is no lying to the people. Like that there is no trying to deceive a motherfucker. You know what I mean? You say what you want about me. I'm elitist. I'm bougie. I'm whatever. Because I can be elitist. I take that. And I'm not. And I'm learning. And I'm working on it and working on maturity and wisdom and whatnot. But I know good and hell well, asking me to just go and deceive a whole group of people, or asking me to and I believe in social engineering and psychological operations on high levels, because I do think that you can mold people's collective consciousness for their higher good and for their highest self. And I do know that you can help undo brainwashing. And when I say I'm a watcher, I'm talking about I undo the brainwashing of my people. I pour life into people. I'm not, when we talk about programming and social engineering, I'm not about to sit up here and I need to deceive someone to go a certain way so I can get a bag or so I can, like, it's something to think about, because it's like, you want to always make sure that you're not overselling yourself or over inflating your ego with the self-righteousness shit. But at the same time, it's like, I know I can't do that. I'll say that. I'm not saying I'm a saint, because I'm not. I'm not saying at all. But I know I can't do that. I can't try to uh, deceive people with something I know they ain't gonna get, or but whatever that was. I'm telling you, it was very governmental, and it also seemed contractual. It seemed like it was something deeper as far as this reparation stuff and trying to get us to go along with something. As far as the collective of Black Americans have a very, very unique cosmic genetic DNA code. They know, even if you come from a different tribe, they were very methodical, very, very methodical. The system is ran very in ways that you would never, ever believe. Excuse me. It's ran in ways you would never ever, that you are not yet privy on. It's interdimensional. It is very spiritual. It is occult. It is the Matrix itself is satanic, but as far as like them knowing interdimensionally who is who based on the DNA, based off of genealogy, based off of uh, again, this gets cosmic. It's not you. It's not just always your literal your genealogy records and your actual scientific DNA. We're talking about a cold. It's too deep. You're not ready for it. But I would just say this: Black Americans are very unique people, and for whatever reason, our government is very tired of us. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. They are very, very tired of us as Black Americans because we're uncontrollable. We're unpredictable. We can be quite predictable, but we're uncontrollable. I'll say that, and it's starting to aggravate the system. So you got 40 million niggas that's running around talking about reparations. Then you got some that's talking about white supremacy. Then you got some that's talking about building parallel infrastructures and getting out of. Then you got some that's talking about going off grid. Then you got some that's talking about they tired of the Democrats in the system. You got some that's talking about that's exposing the music industry. It's a lot going on for them. This happened in 2020, and they really thought of ways of how they can get, like, damn, these niggas is really out here radicalizing and they getting upset. They talking about the benign neglect. They really getting tired. And they said, you know what? We can't control these niggas. Time's up. The play is up. Here's the thing. There's a shift in power going on that has happened galactically, and it's obviously going to shift into the White House. It's going to shift into a government level. And it's a very specific prophecy, a very specific thing that is supposed to happen. And it does involve Black Americans. It involves a Black American lineage bloodline out of the Alabama area, or a descendant from Alabama. Alabama has portal. It's very powerful. Shit, when you're getting too deep. I think I keep stuff to myself, because you always think Alabama ain't got no magical, portal over there, because you always think of Hawaii or Lemuria or Africa. So you don't think there's no real power here. But we all know where the real power is. But Alabama, when it comes to Black American, Alabama got some shit, man. Whew. I mean, they're talking about literal beings from Saturn come to Alabama as Black Americans. Walk with me. Hang in there with me now. Hang in there. Hang with me. Hang with me. Because I know maybe 1,000 years from now, all this stuff will make sense. All this stuff, okay, yeah. Oh, wow. She was just way ahead of her time. This information is being hidden from you. It's being hidden. It's being hidden even from like the high level gatekeepers, let alone a low level. I won't say low level, but even let alone a regular human, right? But It's being hidden from even some of the watchers, right? Follow me. If it's being hidden from the gatekeepers, 33-degree Masons, this stuff is being hidden from them. What makes you think that the average Black Americans are going to follow me? I'm trying to get y'all to, I want you there with me, though. I'm trying to tell you that there is some, when it comes to the Black Americans, there are entities that specifically come through the portal in Alabama that comes as a Black American. Sun Ra was one of them. You got a couple of them. I know for a fact that they're interdimensional. I don't want to talk too much, but pretty much Alabama, Georgia, of course, North Carolina. This big ass portal in Alabama, still there. It's hidden. Nobody knows where the government doesn't even know where it's at. No one can do anything. It's just like like we talk about the Maria portal and shit in Hawaii and all that stuff, and the Grand Canyon, and there's a portal and we talk about that, right? There's other portals now. Oh yeah. And so there's some shit going on that's supposed to be going on with Alabama and this Black American, particularly Sephardic Moor Indian bloodline. Sephardic Moors, Hebrew, it's supposed to get deep. And that bloodline is supposed to be back in power. But it's not of the one that has sold us out, because some of our Sephardic Moor Black American royal bloodline, unfortunately, they did. So they made a pact almost 1,000 years ago to sell out the some of the royal bloodline did it with the African over there, sold out the entire Africans for exchange of demonic power, all power, not necessarily money, just power, spiritual power mixed in with them. This is what you talk about the Nephilim. Remember Nephilim was trending a couple of weeks? I said all this stuff was going to play out. It's all going to play out. Watch. It's all going to make sense eventually. Then you had some of the royal, because this is all one family. This is a Black royal family that hides behind the white 13 royal bloodlines. They hide behind them, and they did hide good. And some of them walked away and became in poverty, and some of them walked away and they run around in Buffalo and they run around in Detroit and Alabama and whatnot, and you wouldn't know because they walked away or they got sacrificed. Some of us are just they sacrifice as well, and so you'll think an average Black American that is regular, you think that no, they can't be possibly. If they're really, really powerful spiritually, and you're wondering why, like, you can't really. You do all these things to them, don't shit happen to them? And most likely from that bloodline. But nonetheless, that bloodline sold the American Indian out as well. The Black indigenous copper people here sold that African out. It's the same bloodline, it's the same family. And they did it for power. They mixed in with Satan. They are above the 13 families because they are part, they're mixed in with this interdimensional blood. We going deep. We going real deep. So they are mixed in with the fallen angel blood. I'll just say that they're mixed in with fallen angel blood. Some of that is Luciferian, some of that is not. Some of it is even more lower level. I'll say that. And so that bloodline is going to be out in the open more. It's out there because it's a prophecy, but also that Black bloodline, that bloodline. Oh, this is so deep. There are defectors, and there are people that no longer want to be a part of that satanic agenda in this matrix, and they have the power. We have the power and the intellect and the skill to redo and reprogram this matrix. I'll just say that. And they're Black Americans. Okay? They're Black Americans. So if you wonder why you're being attacked and targeted, why they burying us, it is because it is a prophecy that you are supposed to be back in power. Again, this is a Sephardic Moor Indian bloodline mixed with some African, and obviously some of you have Muslim Brotherhood code in the DNA as well. It's deep. It's a formulation that is galactic, that was hidden from you, and They did mix you all up. Yeah, they should say, I'm an acclamation, all this stuff, whatever. That could be true. A lot of it is true. But it's also based, when we talk about like these 12 tribes and whatnot, that it's a part of it. It's just one picture, though. It's just one picture because, again, this is a marker that is within Black Americans that transcends an actual. It transcends everything you've been taught pretty much about DNA. It transcends everything you've been taught about tribes and lineage. It transcends that. This is a family. This is a bloodline. And so you don't have to be related, or you don't have to be from the same tribe to have this particular code that I'm talking about. But they know, the people that run this system, they know who has the code. Some of they just know. And so if you notice the severe persecution of the Black Americans in our government by the system, no reparations. They don't fuck with us. The Democrats treat us like shit. Republicans treat us like shit. Benign neglect, everything that we've been through. 240 cities burned to the ground. The only group of people that's been bombed by the U.S. government twice on our own soil. That's not normal. These are not normal things that happen to us. We don't get shit. Our own people sell us out. Black Caucus sell us out. Everybody sell us out. None of our people do anything for us. They take contracts. They sign a contract, and they never be heard of again. They will not work for you once they get there with their system. Once they get in with them. And so they pretty much want us all in that same path. And since many of us are still free, in a sense, they are tired of us. They're tired of Black Americans. And so they're looking for ways to bury you. And that is why you see them propping up this African. They propping up this African. We saw that they showing them at the Grammys. They had Burna Boy do the performance at the Grammys. They got a whole category for Africa. Africa's ready to make their deals with the system. They're ready to continue. The Black American has not made deals yet. Collectively, we're talking about this is collectively through it has to happen collectively. They have to have the mind and soul of the tribe, but they don't have that yet of the Black American. Look at what they're doing with the sports. They want the Africans all in the sports. Africans in football, Africans in basketball. They're bringing them over here. They're bringing them all and pushing out Black Americans. They're doing this with the college. They're doing this with everything. It's deeper. They're locking us out of the positions and whatnot. You see every time, look at it. Look at it. Just look at it for yourself in academia and sports and music and acting. And they're pushing us out of our own movies and whatnot. It's all by design. Obviously, the workplace, medical field. What's going on? Why are they trying to literally replace us with some weird? I'm sorry. Why are they trying to replace us with some people from fucking Africa? What are they doing? And I don't have no beef with Africans, right? I don't have issues with Africans. I just find it strange that our government is so obsessed with Africans. It's just not normal. They should be on alert too, but they not. Whatever. But I find it that should be that's alarming to me, because it's like, why are you locking out your and then another thing is with all these immigrants, all these illegal immigrants, all this bringing these migrants, like our government's obsession with bringing in random ass people and then pushing out, burying the Black American and burying Americans in general. What's up with that? Because the white Americans, they about to get their ass thrown out the frame too. They think we've been getting our ass thrown out the frame for 400, 300 years. The white Americans are next, because some of them, believe it or not, also have the code. This is serious. This is some serious shit, man. But for us, it's like they want to make an example out of the Black American, because we ain't never backing down, and we ain't never collectively. Now, do we got sellouts? Yeah, hell yeah, we got some sellouts among us. They working with the government right now. They the ones that fucked up this reparation shit. So hell yeah. But collectively, we are still a free people. We are still God's people. And so the plan was to get us, they knew we wasn't. We kicked up too much shit. We kick up too much shit for them. We kick up too much shit for their liking. So they were trying to say, well, y'all not gonna get no reparations. Y'all ain't get no cash payment. We're not giving y'all no deals anymore when it comes to music, acting, sports. You about to lock y'all motherfuckers out. And guess what? I'm gonna say this and I'm about to get off of here. That's a beautiful thing. You know why? Because it's not they fault that your ass don't know who the fuck you are. And they know. And they think you're stupid for not knowing who you are. They're jealous too. But it's not their fault. Because they know what's going on. They know what the signs of the times, and they know it's switching guard, and they know who's supposed to go back in power, and they know the prophecies. You don't. And so they about to lay the hammer down because they said we hope these motherfuckers don't wake up. They try to lay the hammer down on me so many times because I know the prophecies. And I know what the hell is going on. And I know who really, 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 really run this system, how it really, 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 really runs, and who's really supposed to really supposed to run it next. And so they're trying to prevent that from happening because it involves you, Black Americans. It involves you. And it does involve the African, but the African is not seeing the play quick enough. Only some of them do. If every African was like Dr. Mumby, we'll be much farther in life, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we all? But like some of the Africans can't see the play of what's going on. So they're coming over here and they're willing to align with the beast. And so there is supposed to be different vanguards going on. Africa is supposed to also be a powerhouse. You know, it's a switch in a vanguard. Now, America is still going to be America, but the power is supposed to go switch in America as well. It's supposed to switch back to the Sephardic, Moorish, Indian blood. Black American. And Africa is supposed to switch, as well. Melanated Caribbean is supposed to be doing a thing. And they know this. But most Black people don't know this. Most melanated folk don't know this. And so they trying to usher in the last hurrah. And they figure we can offer all this stuff to the African. The African gonna go with it. They ain't gonna say shit. They know they can't do that with the Black American. They know they can kind of do it with the Caribbean, but the Caribbean, they kind of be loosey-goosey. I ain't gonna hold you. They kind of loosey-goosey. And they do defer to what the Black American do. They will listen to us. And so they kind of a little tired of them as well. But at the same time, the Caribbean also is still very naive as well. But the African, they kind of like, we ready to sign. Where do we sign? That's how the African is like, where do I sign on the dotted line? to align with the system. What, I got to bury the Black American? Done. That's how they think. Done. They hate my people anyways. Not all of them is like that, though. Not all of them. But I'm just saying the ones that's over here. They said we can't have them niggas kicking up too much shit over in Africa. They looking at that Thomas Sankara reincarnation over there. His name is Ibrahim. They looking at him. They getting kind of nervous. They got these these African women speaking out. They got powerful African women. So they trying to hope that they don't focus their energy on themselves. They don't want them Africans focusing that energy on themselves. But Africa, African empowerment, African women, getting in power and being actually for the people. They don't want that waking up over there. So they ready to go in. Same thing over here in America. They don't want Black Americans. That's why they throwing that sexy red out. They throwing that, what's that other girl? Sukiana. They throwing these, ooh, good God. They throwing, did y'all see that video of Sexy Red with pregnant with the hospital shaking her ass and all that? They throwing that out. The desecration of divine feminine. Good God. And so they want Black Americans, and none of us like that shit. None of us even think like that. None of us even act like that. So it's like, what are y'all doing? Like, what the fuck is really going on? Who's consuming this? But nonetheless, this is what's happening. And so they kind of looking at the Black Americans like, what can we do with y'all? Y'all not falling for any psyop anymore. You're not falling for catfish and chicken nugget. You're not falling for the sex, drugs, and rock and roll type shit. Y'all don't want to be signing these 360 deals no more. Y'all complaining about the contracts. You're complaining about the NFL. You're complaining about the NBA. You're complaining about the fucking Grammys. You're complaining about the Oscars. You don't follow the bread and circus act no more. You're not distracted enough. This is how the government. I'm telling you what they're saying. I'm telling you. As an interdimensional being, I am literally telling you what these people are thinking. They are like, y'all are not buying into the system enough. What's y'all plans? Hmm? What if we lock you out, though? What if we lock you from resources, money, food, clothing? What if we continue to throw psyops, damage your reputation and your image, damage the reputation of your women, damage the reputation of the men? Make sure the black men, we're gonna try to figure out a way to get black men, black women to keep arguing. In fact, we gotta figure it out. That's another thing they try to do. They're trying to figure out how to get y'all at each other's throats again. Because it's like, damn, they ain't really fighting all like how they used to be. You know, they try to bring a bunch of African women to distract, and then we peep that, and so it's kind of like, damn, what the hell? How are we gonna get these niggas? You know, and so they kind of like at their wits end. It's a beautiful thing though, because here's the thing, and this is what Black Americans need to understand. You don't want to understand me now? That's fine. You want to act like, oh, she Kali, just here she go. You know, she's weird. Oh, y'all motherfuckers gonna learn the hard way. A 9 ether being, 90 ether being, 60 ether being. How do I say this? We all know this is a 3D system. This matrix Satan system is a 3D, 2D system. It's on its last leg. It's about to fall off, right? You've been beat down for 500, 300, 400 years. So you don't really know who you are, right? But they know. So here they are, 3D niggas, 3D consciousness, 3D matrix system. That's an illusion, mind you. And they've been controlling you and the perception of you, how you think for hundreds of years. And then you just wake up, right? You just wake up. But you already were always like a 5D, 60, 7, 80, 9 ether being, right? You're always a 9 ether being, 90 ether being, right? Always a God that didn't know they were a God. And you just wake up. But you're still kind of confused on how to get control of the system, or how to really make moves, or how to really, you still kind of figuring things out. But you know you need justice. So you go and ask for reparations. Your plan is, let me go and ask some motherfuckers for reparations. A check off of illusory fiat currency money. You, as a 9 ether being, go to ask a 3D creature system, an illusion system, for fiat currency. Do you know how delusional that is? Do you know how backwards that is? A God goes to Satan to ask for something of theirs that is actually essentially worthless. And they know it. They know it. This is how they see you. They're disgusted and jealous because you can't see who you are. They know that y'all can go off and build the next Wall Street. They know, and that's what they expect. And they're like, go build a parallel infrastructure. Matter of fact, let's open a fucking portal and go into a parallel universe, go into another dimension. Why don't you? This is what the top level. I'm not. This is above government now. This is what they think, because they the ones that really run this shit, right? This is what they really feel about. I'm just keeping it real. Why don't y'all niggas just figure out a way to jump shift, to jump quantum leap? Go build a parallel infrastructure at this point. We don't even give a fuck. Just get out our face. This is what they feel about us. A 9D ether being, 7D. But even if you just 5D, right? Because there's Earth went into 5D. We're all 5D. Even if you is a 5D nigga, right? You think you're gonna go to a 3D matrix government and ask them collectively for their resources when they on their last leg dying, knowing that the prophecy about to come true, knowing that they about to be put out of power, knowing that they gotta leave this, gotta go to a whole nother dimension themselves. That's why they building all these underground bunkers. Wake your motherfucking ass up. I don't mean curse at you like that. Forgive me. But seriously, what do you think they're going to say to you? They're going to give you their ass to kiss. And then they're saying, okay, you don't want to be controlled. You don't want to be in our system. You want our money, but then you don't want to be drowned out like the rest of these niggas, like the rest of the humans. Like, so we're going to give the resources to the ones that want to follow the rules. So that's why they're giving it to the illegal immigrant who runs over the border, who runs right to the beast, who runs willingly into the beast, who runs right into Babylon, who's jumping the border, jumping the gates all over the place. I'm not saying this about American land. American land is beautiful. I'm talking about the system. It's a difference. And I think I'm coming at North America when I say these things, because I'm not. Because America's always going to be here. So too many portals here. A lot of magic here. System is what I'm talking about. And so you'll have all these illegal immigrants running over, willing to do whatever to get over here. And the government knows that. Those are hungry souls, hungry lost souls. Okay, hungry lost souls. And so the Black Americans, yeah, we may be hungry, but we ain't hungry. Like we'll go off grid and forage type hungry if we have to starve. Like we're that type hungry. Like, yeah, we not that hungry. And so not enough to go to go deal with the stuff that we have been dealing with. And so they know that. They said, y'all kick up shit too much. You think too hard. So go build your parallel infrastructure. Go build your own, because we ain't giving you shit. Democrats are giving you shit. You might get a little bit of something with Trump. You better they thinking you better warm up motherfucking Trump, because that's your only best bet. Because Trump is not really with the Republicans like that. The Republican Party don't fuck with us either, right? But Trump is kind of a renegade still a little bit of a renegade, because he sees it as a spiritual war. He sees it different. This is a whole different thing. It's a whole another system going on here, trying to be ushered in. So he sees a prophecy. He sees some things. So they thinking, shit, go run that shit to Trump. But they know, you know, it's like, damn, they don't want to vote. They don't want to vote for the Democrats. They don't want to vote, period. They complain about everything. This is how they see us. And it's a good thing, because that means that it is time to build a parallel infrastructure. It is time to focus your energy on yourself and what we can do and what our resources. It is time to come together, time to come closer, time to work together. And you can't be a jealous ass nigga. You can't be treacherous. You can't be lining each other up. Them days are done. If y'all trying to make the moves y'all trying to make, and the moves you're gonna have to make, the moves you're gonna be forced to fucking make. And I can't beat them jealous ass niggas, man. That stuff that happened with Nipsey, and how y'all try to do me, and how y'all niggas do each other and line each other up and set each other up to get a bag, like how them niggas did us in California with the Freedmans and that California reparations. Yeah, nah. You gonna learn the hard way. This is, if you claim you the chosen ones, you claim you the people of God, and you so moral. Oh, you about to be tested by God. You really about to be motherfucking tested. How well will you work together? Will you come together? Or are you still going to beg as a 9-ether fucking being, as a God? Are you going to go to Satan and ask them for a fucking reparations check? Keep asking them for money, and they keep dicking you around? Or are you going to go and sign a deal? Better yet, you're going to go and make a deal. Is that what you're going to do, Black American? And your ass going to get torn off the frame there. Many of you are already getting your ass torn out the frame from that. So you really about to be tested. You claim y'all want to work together and build together, and y'all on code. We on code. It's about to be motherfucking tested, because you about to build your own motherfucking cities, and you about to build your own infrastructure, your own schools, your own shit, everything. Think we're playing, because this government not giving you shit. So what you gonna do? Continue to cry? You're a 5D to 9D ether being. Wake the fuck up. Many of you are past 5D in consciousness. I am past 5D in consciousness, not necessarily in habits, and that doesn't mean I'm a saint, and it doesn't mean we're all righteous, and it's not about us trying to be superior over other people, because I'm not superior to anybody. I'm just saying what it is. But you're asking a dying system that you have more power than, spiritually and collectively through consciousness, to give you something that they feel you can manifest on your own. That's how they look at it. They jealous. They can't even fucking leave the stratosphere. Your ass is sitting up there asking them, and they on their last leg. You can't even see it, because you're talking about white supremacy. They on their last leg, and you sit up there running around asking them, and they see, and many of you, and that it's not all of us. So some of us, some of them are some Black Americans are a part of their system for life. They took an oath, they took a pact, and they're with them, and they're part of that, and they're going to go down with it. They're going to go down with the seekership, and they won't inherit 5D heaven on earth, 9D and beyond. They won't inherit heaven on earth. They won't inherit the new earth. There are some Black Americans that are going to completely fall down with the system. Sure. But for some of us real ones, that really was like with this reparation stuff, the real grassroots Black Americans who are free, we look stupid to them going to as nine ether beings. Some of us are, I'm telling you, just because you don't know that you're a god, just because you don't know who you are, just because you don't know how you're special, just because you don't know what your dormant DNA is or who you're connected to or your bloodline, it doesn't mean they don't. It doesn't mean that they haven't tried to prevent that from prevent you from waking up. Hence the 400 years of satanic ritual abuse through slavery and beating down of the epigenetics of a code, of a certain light code that they knew was already existence in you over here, whether you are from Africa as a slave brought over here or an indigenous or a Sephardic Moor. So just because you don't know, and you walking around here, some of you are the heirs to what's coming. And you just haven't awakened yet. Or you're having an awakening. So you know a little something. But then you go into the beast asking for a check. And they saying, well, say you're from Africa. And then we'll give you something. No, you don't want to do that. Get the fuck out of my face now. Because you don't even want to do that. You ain't getting no cash payment. Fuck out of here. You ain't getting no cash payment. This is what they saying to us. You're going to get California hair discrimination. There's some shit about. Let's read it, actually. I'm actually going to. Because they trying to hoodwink us on that. They're trying to hoodwink us on that, too, with this stuff, with the stuff that is in the bill. So we're going to review that a little bit. But just imagine, because we're not there yet, and I'm not trying to, force anything or force anybody to believe. That's not my stilo. I don't care to try to make it seem like what my truth is. Everybody, you need to believe what I believe. I don't care for that either. What I'm saying is, if someone is a 9D ether being in human form and they just awaken, or they don't know who the fuck they are, but they're supposed to inherit something. They have an inheritance. They have a bloodline, very powerful royal bloodline. That's galactic. If they in a human flesh and they don't know, they just been beat down for 500 years, thinking they just a slave. They descendants of slavery. Are they free, man? And they don't know who they are, and they go right to the beast, and say, "Give us our check, 5 million apiece. Give us our check. Give us our reparations check. We owe it. Was you did us this with slavery. You owed us debt." And they in the 3D dimension. Mind you, they in the 3D, and you're a 9D. But they know who you are. But you don't know who you are. So they're like, thank God, at least they don't know that. But they actually don't know they have the power to, with their mind, to literally move us out of power. That's how stupid they can't even, they don't realize that they have the power to do that. And they don't know how to do it. So thank God. This is what they say. But they say, you want in on our system still, but we'll just lock you out. Because you don't play ball enough anyways. So this is how they feel about the Black American. And so your only alternative is to build a parallel structure, which I said in this video for 5 hours. I was teaching you how to do this whole Queen Mother shit. What do you think all this stuff was about? Queen Mothership Part 1, Queen Mothership Part 2, Queen Mothership Part 3, Queen Mothership Part 4, economics, social fabric and culture, defense. Queen Mothership Part 6, gaining power via technology, collaboration and conflict resolution. Queen Mothership Part 7, sustainable villages and intentional communities. Queen Mothership Part 8, fun activities for Black Americans, addressed in Black Illuminati. Queen Mothership Part 9, Procuring Water, Village, Construction Materials. Queen Mothership Part 10, Intelligence Gathering, Prevention, Disruption. Queen Mothership Part 11, Planning Committees, most addressing reparations and the divine feminine. Queen Mothership Part 12, Holidays and Suggested Readings. Queen Mothership Part 13, Messages to Black Men in Toxic Reparations Space. Elite Occult Bloodlines. I already see the play. I already see it. Y'all about to be tested. You want to sit up there and go down with a sinking ship? Is you really that lost? Did you really sell your soul like that? No, many of you haven't. So what the fuck are you doing? Why you not coming together and building your own stuff? Getting a little something popping because you're gonna have to. Or you will. I guess you'll keep asking. I guess you'll go to the drawing board, do another. I guess do a reparations bill in Detroit and what they got one in Atlanta and all that stuff. They playing around, man, and it's funny because it's like, oof, and they hoping. They hoping. And you got just one motherfucker that can glitch your matrix. I know it. Imagine if all 40 million of you get on code. Now you're not even on. This is a collective consciousness. The universe is mental. So all you need to do it is you don't even need to do it a long time. You just do it for 1 week. And you think about your ideal parallel universe, your IPU, of what you want as a Black American collective. You meditate on it. You're constantly thinking about it. You get some niggas. You get me on it. You'll have it. If it's something you really want, you're gonna do it. You're gonna think about it. And I'm still learning about manifesting, but I know with me, it's easy when it comes to certain things regarding social fabric, anything that has to do with influencing of movement or a concept. Then I'm good with that still. I'm just trying to figure out like how to do this stuff materially. But yeah, if we thinking about like how we gonna let's do the next Black Wall Street, let's do the next indigenous community, let's do it, let's build a city, And we think about creating an IPU where we're prosperous, where we have our own water, where we have our own leaves, where we have our own school, where we have our own hospital, where we have our own herbal grocery store, our own community gardens, like shit like that. We really think we found the way. A Black man already just discovered how to turn air into water and how to get a water engine in a car. So what is y'all doing? Why is y'all acting like y'all don't know how to do shit? You come together. You at least, if you could turn water from air, y'all ask know how to. You'll still have transportation. Do you not know the level of threat that is? Oh, I'm going to turn air into water, and they're going to turn the water and put it into an engine, and we're going to have a car. Just imagine. These two inventions came from Black Americans, by the way. Then you got Black American talking about we're going to invent some fusion power. Come on, they want us out of here. Wake your ass up. And it's not because you did anything wrong. It's because of who you are. They waiting for your motherfucking ass to go back to Series A, Series B somewhere. They're ready for you to get out of here. Just go to Pleiades or something. Go travel to another dimension. Wake up. This is what because they like, damn, we got these 3D niggas, we got 2D, 3D souls down here, and y'all messing the play up because half of y'all on 5D, 6D, or you migrating to 4D. Some of you on 6D, some of you on 7D, some of you moving on 8D, some of you moving on 9D. Y'all over the place. Some of you go back and forth from 20D to 45D, back to 9D, back to 5D, all over the place. And they don't have any control. That's why they shit is glitching out so much. And to be honest, it is the Black Americans causing a lot of this because they are the descendants of a certain bloodline. They have certain light codes. They are hybrid of a certain species. And yes, the Africans are too. But for whatever reason, they I don't know what's up. We not. That's why I say I know we're not the same people, but some Africans are a part of. Some Africans do have some of our the light code that I'm talking about. They do have that. Some of them do. Some, yes, they do. And you'll know. You'll get along with them. You'll feel kindred spirit, but a very kindred spirit. You feel like you'll know if they come from your star system, from your code. Okay, so this is why these things are happening to the Black American. You're supposed to be in power. You better figure out how to get in power. You better figure out how to get in that White House. Go and you write that motherfucker check yourself. And we're talking about like a system that's vacant. These motherfuckers about to go underground bunkers. Got George Soros, not George. What's the dude name? Mark Zuckerberg building underground bunker. And all the billionaires building underground bunker. They have to go hide in underground. Politicians build an underground bunker. And they about to skedaddle, and they about to burn. They about to light a match on fire before they leave this bitch. And that's why they had to leave the world behind thing. I ain't about to, they feel like you ain't about to inherit our system, whether it's 3D or not. Whether you ain't about to inherit our water systems and water pipes and irrigation systems that we built and electric grid systems. We about to shut off the electric grid, shut off the fucking telecommunications, satellites, or whatever. We go underground and you figure it out. Y'all niggas figure it out because they got a power. You can't see it though. They out of power. And so you Black Americans is going to them asking for some damn reparations. They tried one more last play. They tried with the Freedmans and tried to get them and to get you to shut up. Well, no, that ain't good enough for you. So they said, well, we about to bury y'all. We tired of your mouth. We tired of y'all. We about to get these Africans. The Africans and these illegal immigrant Latinas. We about to get them over here. They ready to play ball. They're ready to be good citizens. They're not questioning nothing. They're not thinking too hard. They're not asking for too much. So we're going to give them something. We're going to give them $10,000 a month and pay their rent and give them resources and give them free schooling and education and give them the right to vote. We're going to do it for them because because you Black Americans, you're not playing ball enough. This is what they feel. And so what are you going to do as a Black American? Ask yourself that. Many of our people already is clicked in with that stuff. They already clicked in with the system. They already are. They know you can do about it. They lost, they gone. But it's millions of us that are not. And even if it's not just millions, even if it's just a few of us that's not, right? Just those of us that's not. We still too powerful. But if you don't know your power, if you don't know how to manage your power or how to utilize your power, that's not their fault. That you haven't figured out a way to get control over the system. And so they're going to try to prevent you from doing that at every leg that they get. But that doesn't mean that you don't have an advantage still or that you can't figure it out. We will figure it out. We have people that have awakened among us. We have some very powerful Black Americans still among us. Not all of our leaders are sellouts. So we will get there. We will have the mind. We will, but again, y'all gonna have to follow some light codes. You're not gonna be following these Abrahamic bullshit stuff that y'all like to do. As far as like the perverted versions of the Abrahamic religions, y'all not about to do that. I think y'all about to get in power. Y'all not about to disrespect Black children and think y'all about to get in power. And you damn sure not about to disrespect Black women and think you're about to get in power. There are some rules around here for you to get back to where you were at. Back into the ascension. It's already there for you, but you're not coming into the new earth with that bullshit. None of us. That go for me too. And you can't come in with fear. Gotta let go of fear. Gotta let go of fear and self-doubt and jealousies and envies and all that stuff. You gotta let that go. Because you won't get there either with that. With them low vibration. It's too low vibrational. Black Americans must raise our vibration very, very, very high. That's our leverage to quantum leap in a new dimension and create a new reality for ourselves. We have to raise our vibration first. Ain't no sneaky deception trying to get somebody to sign some weird ass contract to sell their soul and all this weird stuff, or get somebody deceiving all this stuff that Black people do with each other. You can't do that. You're not getting power that way, and that's why them Freedmans fell right on their fucking face. And they gonna continue. Ain't no making no deals with the government and making them deals with Newsom and all that shit. Nah, get the fuck out of here with that. So you can get a job and all that. Nah. It's getting shut down by the universe. It's getting shut down by God. And God is a woman. And she not playing none of that. She not playing on that. Y'all know y'all about to be righteous ass niggas. What the fuck you thought? You about to inherit a 5D, 60, 70, 80 earth. And y'all about to be doing that bullshit to each other still? Selling each other out? Lying, deceiving your people? No. You're gonna perish right with the beast. Not everybody going there, but you have a chance. So she deleted. You see, this post was deleted by the author. I knew she was going to delete it. So what did I do? Screenshotted it. This is Camilla's post. So she was talking about like some of the bills of the first in the nation lineage-based legislation for descendants of American slaves / American freedmen, descendants of enslaved Africans in the United States and California. So she named these bills: home ownership assistance for descendants, property tax relief for descendants in formerly red line communities, American Freedmen Affairs Agency, no motherfucking cash payment, land restitution with cash alternative. I've read into that. That's to be announced. That ain't about. That's a nothing burger. Community rehabilitation grant program, state apology to descendants, STEM education grant for descendants. So this was a post that was posted, like this brag moment, and she started to elaborate on like which each one meant, the restitution of her first time home buyers assistance, mortgage support. The house should be motherfucking free. What you mean mortgage support? Insurance subsidies of descendants of enslaved Africans, enslaved persons. Restitution, provide property tax relief for descendants impacted by redlining, adding a layer of restitution. Somebody told her to write this stuff. Like, who's her handler? This legislation undermines California's community corrective systemic discrimination in housing, because they know they fumble, and so it kind of seems like they kind of running the. It says a pivotal Senate bill yet to be numbered will address land restitution for unjust property takings through racially motivated eminent domain, specifically for descendants of slavery, providing a cash alternative where land is returned isn't feasible. Okay, honorable mention, restitution, rehabilitation, AB 120. So these are these people. I guess these are like their Freeman clique, and they kind of just get stuff in where they fit in with their own people. They're very, very, very well organized, and they work together. They look out for each other too. And so you can't knock, because we ain't figured it out, but they are do boys for the government. And so none of these bills really going to do anything for us. Guarantee of non-reputation. You're damn right. We don't need no guarantee of non-reputation. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to be repeated even if you motherfucking try. What do you mean guarantee? Now that ain't shit. You weren't going to do it any motherfucking ways. As far as slavery, you think we going back in slavery? Yeah, you can have modern day slavery, slave wages and all this shit. But no, ain't no grab no whip out type slavery. Grab no whip and rape your woman and all that type slavery. Nah. No, we ain't doing that. Where you grabbing no whip out and all that. Guarantee a non-repetition, or drink from this water fountain and you drink from that water fountain and you do it. Nah, not that type. Not that type. Ain't no type. Because we're moving into another age. Honorable mentions, this stuff. How much did you get paid to sell us out? Look at the comments, not reparations. Oh yeah, they was dragging her in the comment. I ain't even gonna hold you. I was like, damn. That's why the post was deleted. The post that was deleted, that was the one where they was going in too. I mean, because Black Americans, they know what this is. They ain't stupid. Damn. They mad. They pissed. I had tried to tell y'all. I tried to out, and I could feel them power brokers. I mean, like the black gatekeepers. I could feel them on my head. When I released this, when I did this video, this 5-hour video right here, talking. I mean, I was going in 5 hours. I felt their energy. I said, and then shortly after, they did come for my black ass. But I felt that. I said, I was going in. I tried to let y'all know very slowly what the hell was gonna happen. But we were the instructionists. I was the weird, crazy Callie, I guess. I don't know what y'all try to say about me, but I'm like, this is what. Honestly, I laid it out. Now I ain't either being trying to ask a 3D matrix system for some fiat currency on a system that's on its last leg. These motherfuckers about to go hide in a motherfucking bunker. For the royal bloodline, 13 families is out of power, dude. Wake your motherfucker. Let me stop. Wake your ass up. This is so much deeper, man. They trying to work with us. That's why they went and got the Freedmans, because they got the Moorish bloodline. They not Sephardic though. They don't have the light codes, because the light codes is demanding righteousness. For that power to really get in, you have to have that righteousness. That's the only way them doors gonna open for the Black American. But you thinking, oh, let's cut a deal with some of these people from the royal Moorish bloodline, the freedmans, and let's get them. Let's put them as a power broker class, the new gatekeepers over the rest of the niggas, because we think that the government thought they could fulfill the prophecy that way and still stay in power. And they was willing to work with them on that, and they can't. It didn't work because it's not gonna work. They want them out. These interdimensional beings, they want them out. And so you can try to make a deals with the fallen angels. They're defecting because now you asking them to go against their creator, their mother. And yeah, it might have been cool to, rebel or do whatever they was doing against the creator. And when they came down here, y'all ran amok on planet Earth. Y'all ran amok and made yourself God on planet Earth. Yeah, it was fun for a while. It fucking lasted. Just like what happened with the Atlanteans. It's like what happened with the Nakians, the Anunnaki. It happened with all. It happens. And don't nobody really give you they don't kick up shit about it. We ain't making no big deal about it. But shit, straw broke the camel's back. And time's up. Time to come home. You have some rowdy ass kids. They acting up. Okay, I'm open to whoop your ass. Get the belt. Or go in the room. Go time out. Go in the room and go lay down. You know how sometimes you don't get a whooping, and parents say, go lay down. Go in the bedroom and go lay down. You ain't get no dessert. You just fucked up. And work my nerves. That's pretty much what the universe is like with with America, with the human race, with planet Earth. And so, and also just the species as well. It's not just humans that's down here. I know that. I should know that if you don't know that. And so, they tried it. The ones that's currently about to be out of power, they trying to hurry up and make what we got to do, what we got to sacrifice, what we got to do to feed the system, feed the beast. And so they trying to conjure up work with the Goetia, whatever we got to do in the Goetia to get these legions. So how can we give us more power? And they kind of like, like Mother said we can actually redeem ourselves. Mother said, and they like, well, wait a minute, you said that you did. No, I don't work that way. You told these white people, or you told these humans, whatever you told them, but you ain't giving them the whole truth. And good and hell well, you're not going. I don't care what they told you about fallen angels, and they what they told you about God try to hide information from y'all. They didn't want y'all enlightened, and all that lies they told. Shit wasn't true. And so now you see your systems and your power and your technology is falling. It's old. It's outdated. And you want these fallen angels help. You want these Goetia demons help. And they rolling. They ready to go back to the Godhead. They tired. They know what time it is too. They do. So they not about to turn on a creator for humans, or for the 13 the Satan bloodlines of Satan. They not about to turn on God for them, to keep them in power. When they got a chance to go back home, hell nah. And I'm talking the cult now. Now we talking the cult, which is very occult knowledge. It's very esoteric knowledge. It's very spiritual knowledge. But they are not about to turn on God to help some 13 families that's related to Satan continue to run this system on planet Earth, and the interdimensional beings that helped run it. The Dharma urge. If Mother said the Matrix got to crack and the new system got to come in, and it's a new day, they're going to oblige it. They're going to oblige it. Some of them. But the entities that's so far removed from God, if they that damn lost, then that's on them. But whatever happens, happens. But many people and interdimensional beings, and they realize, like, they know what time it is. Yeah, they are about to, it's like, nah, so we'll oblige this new age coming in on planet Earth. We'll oblige this 5D. It's not a 5D. It's new earth, heaven on earth. We'll oblige this heaven on earth concept. What we got to do. We'll all this low governing force. Okay, what's up with that? What is Tahuti talking about? What is the Archangel Michael running around here? We talking about energies now. Now we're getting into it. There is some very powerful energies floodgating this planet. It's very powerful, and they are from certain entities. And there are federations and galactic councils, and it's a lot of shit going on this planet. You could feel it. And they talking and they making deals, and they trying to work out negotiations and treaties and what's going to happen on this planet. What happens with the governments? How do we, what kind of technology is going to be released to humans? What kind of knowledge is going to be released to humans now? It's all going down. You got some. It's a new day. So if the Black American wants to go down with a sinking ship, that's on them. But if they wake up and realize that they are 90 ether beings, and this is spiritual. It's a spiritual war, man. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual war. You're a human. You have a spirit and a human body. It's just a meat suit. You only on this bitch for like, what, 80 to 100 years? If that. Some of you only going to get a good 50, 60 years out this bitch. If that. Okay, it's just transitory state. It's a transitory physical state. You will arise. You will go elsewhere. Or you'll stay here. Do some other shit. But for now, you have to see the reality for what it is now. Things change. Things evolve. Evolution of consciousness. You won't just stay in one time loop for the rest of your life, or in one matrix program, one machine, this is a program. The program is being rewritten. The algorithm is being rewritten. Not with binary code, non-binary code. You don't have to make a 90-degree angle to enter a new dimension anymore. You can enter that bitch by a spiral and non-binary. For those who are physicists, quantum physicists, they understand what I'm saying. Because y'all like to try to play me like I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. You don't have to enter a new dimension at a 90-degree angle. Or your ship. This is all mental. You could do this shit but it's spiral. Mimicking the forms of the galaxy. Spiral Fibonacci code. Wake up. It's gonna get wild. I'm here for it. I'm here. I've been waiting. I'm like, motherfucking humor me. Oh, I'm so glad Archangel Michael done tap down on this bitch. We already had Tahuti. We already had the goddesses. Goddesses been acting up. We already had it. And this is just spiritual. We just talking about little dreams. We're just talking about in the dream. I'm a mystic, so I got to do it. I got to talk about the spiritual. That's just me. I'm telling you, I'll be zooted and booted, and I don't do no drugs. I don't drink. I don't do no drugs. I'll be in an equanimous state, equanimity throughout the day, and I love that shit. Because I used to drink and stuff. I don't do that no more. I don't do that, but nonetheless, I still be zooted and booted. With the Godhead, and so that's awesome feeling. But I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I'm so here for the new earth. I'm so here for these changes. I'm so here for these new systems, new governance, awakening of fucking humans. I can't wait for y'all to wake up. Oh God, please wake up, please. And I'm happy that some of you interdimensional beings is on my side, and I'm happy that some of you interdimensional beings are, willing to help. So many of you, and so it's about to get wild. It's about to get wild. I try to warn people. It is what it is. I think I'm about to get off here. I think I said what I want. Oh, I wanted to share. So this. So the ADOS, they had a ball. The ADOS had a ball running down them Freedmans, because they say that the Freedmans took the ADOS blueprint and try to run and get them out the paint because they got into an argument. How true that is, I don't know. I've seen enough though. I've seen some shady shit, and I've heard some shady shit. I heard people that was close with Yvette Carnell run her down personally to me. So Did I ever listen or go repeat or go tell who said what this person did? No, I ain't never do that. Y'all like as much. I might have put motherfuckers on blast that fucking violated me, or I felt me stuff that I know, and I called it out. But believe it or not, it's many of you that have told me told me so much shit, and it never got out to the public. Never, 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 never. If I really wanted to spray or be a loudmouth or really just tell people business and shit, I ain't never do that with nobody. I ain't never release motherfucking recordings and all this shit to nobody. I ain't never tell the names of motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Except for motherfuckers that I know. I know what I know. Simple as that. You know. But I ain't never get into all of that. Y'all niggas was coming talking about someone said this, someone did that, or so and so did this, and she did this, and then I said whatever. I listen, but I'm just like shit. My mind be all. I was thinking about some other shit. I was probably at that time. I used to drink my whiskey. I probably was drinking my whiskey, listening to some damn 528 frequency at 996. But at that time I was at 960. So I was usually listening to 741 hertz, 741 and 528 frequency, and zooted and booted out, writing a book somewhere, listening to motherfucker rant about another person. That's what I used to do in 2021. I'm telling you, no lie. Indigenous sister I used to really talk to is run her mouth so much talking about this, and I'm sitting here writing a book, getting my drink on, talking to her, telling her. Actually, I think I started reading my book to her. My mind be, I'll be all in my own little world of Jenny, of Kalima, Jenny. I'll be in my own world, I tell you. And I love it because that's what we all supposed to be doing, focusing on ourselves, right? Focusing on our soul ascension and what we came here to do. If we gonna help motherfuckers, we gonna help them. If not, fuck it. We try. We try to lift up. I'm a lifter up of people. I like lifting up people. One thing about me, and if I ever made someone feel lower than themselves, I do apologize for that because that's never my intention. I never ever want anybody to feel like, because one thing I notice about this 3D system is that it gets off on people thinking low of themselves. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand it. And I wouldn't want anybody to feel lower about themselves, because I notice people do that on this planet. Like they get off on like picking on someone, picking with people, making people feel bad about themselves. And I don't understand. I find that very strange. And so I never want to do that if I ever done that in the past. And I'm sure I have. I certainly apologize. And for me going forward, I'm like, I don't want to participate in that algorithm of what they do, in terms of, well, you got to feel bad if you this, you got to feel bad if you a single mother, you got to feel bad if you fat, you got to feel bad if you dark skin, you got to feel bad if you don't fit the model of this, you got to feel bad if you don't got no money, you got to feel bad if you don't have no education. That is the stupidest program ever. It's such a horrific program. And I noticed that when I'm seeing my people and I talk with Black Americans, and I'm starting to see like a lot of those things kind of weigh on them as far as their confidence. And I'm like, who's putting this stuff in their head? I'm like, damn, I think we're all participating in like this uber critical this judgmental, this. And when I say we, I'm talking about myself as well. Like, it's like we participated in this, where we gotta, wag our fingers if it's not, and I'm like, I'm learning myself, like, I didn't like when people did it to me. So many people did it to me my whole life, I've literally been put in a monarch program where that has been the key for everybody to kind of gang up, on those with the light, the chosen ones. They kind of just gang up on us and just every day, you're this, you're that, you're not good enough, you're not good, and then they start to weigh on you. And you're like, what the hell? You're not smart enough. You're not this, you're not that. And this is what they do to people. And I said, that's what they did to our people for a long time. And I'm like, I really don't like that Black Americans start to mimic that. We really shouldn't do that to each other. And so for me, I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that. Trying to make people second guess themselves, or the gaslighting thing that people do down here is creepy. It's all creepy. But nonetheless, the ADOS, they ran down the Freedmans. They was trying to prove that the Freedmans stole their blueprint, and that those who was pushing this California shit was originally with ADOS. So they was talking about Friday Jones. And they was talking about, yes, a Chad Boogie. So, this was something that they posted in, what date is this? I presume probably 2021. Where they said today at 3:30, Tone Talks, Breaking Brown, Sandy Dairy, and Kirsten Mellon will be discussing lineage and reparations. Hear directly from the experts that created and anchored the ADOS movement and data. Hosted by Chad Boogie and I am Friday Jones. He said he's ADOS LA. So these was ADOS niggas at one point. Then they went to Freeman. And so it says, join us live politicians in Black as we tackle the topics of lineage and reparations with the ADOS founders, Tone Talks, and Breaking Brown, and co-author Sandy Dairy. Kristen, where to see you there. And this was Leap. So excited for the next Politics and Black Lives broadcast. And here's a picture of Chad Boogie right there. And so it was some treacherous nigga shit going on. It was. I know it had to be. I don't think they all just making this up. It is this random ass ADOS. It's not even necessarily Yvette talking about this. I've been seeing random ass Black Americans talk about what happened. And so all of them can't be fucking lying. Even if one person was lying, all of them lying. So something went down. Something went down, and I honestly didn't get a good vibe from it. Something went down that wasn't right. Something went down that wasn't right in regards to like the reparations with the ADOS and the switch from Freeman and all this stuff. And and you see it yourself. And so, that's just foul. I don't know. Y'all niggas get clicked up and all this stuff, and now you fall out. And then now we got to act like that person is the devil. Everything they ever did was wrong. I just never respected that. I give people their credit. I'm not a hater. I guess because with me, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not the most confident person, but I'm not insecure. Having low self-esteem and being insecure are two different things. A person with insecurity is usually a jealous-hearted person. A person with low self-esteem just don't know how great they are. They can awaken to how great they are. And they actually still do great things. Michael Jackson is a perfect example of someone who's low self-esteem but not insecure. See how he did great things, but he didn't even know how great he was. He had low self-esteem. He was cutting up his fucking nose and all this shit. Things to do with his hair. They ain't had nothing to do with vitiligo. But I love Michael Jackson. I ain't trying to come at him. But what I'm saying is, it's a difference. It's a difference, and when you see the insecure person versus the person with low self-esteem. I'm not insecure. And so I don't understand like the knee-jerk reaction to knock another person's greatness or another person's gifts. I don't understand that. And that's another reason why I just really started to hate the reparation space. I saw so much jealousy. And I just was like, ugh, I just don't understand it. I'll never forget when I was 14, 13 years old. I'll never forget, I had a wicked ass cousin ask me, she said, who do you think you are? You think you God's gift to earth? We had, I had went over to, this was a minute ago. So, I forgot the context of what we was arguing about. But it wasn't even an argument. It was just kind of like, she just was like, she was just weird. She was a sadistic person. But she was like, who do you think you are? You think you God's gift to earth? And I remember thinking in my head, I was 13. I remember saying yes. But I think everybody is. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, don't you think that too? I remember thinking that in my head at 13 years old. I was like, hell yeah. Don't you think that about yourself too? Why don't you? How do we get you to think that? That was literally my thought at 13 years old. Ain't we all guys give their shit? Ain't you a child of God? Ain't you the God? Like I didn't understand it. I didn't understand like why wouldn't I think high? Like why shouldn't you think? Why shouldn't I think that? Why shouldn't I think I'm a gift? Why shouldn't I think I'm blessed? Why shouldn't I think I'm special? Why shouldn't I think that? Why did that bother her so much? Why don't you think that about yourself? I think that about you. And so with me, it's like I always, see all of us as like, don't we all see our gifts? Don't we all think we're all special? And if I think you're special and if I can recognize the God in you, why can't you recognize the God in yourself? If you don't recognize the God in yourself, you certainly can't recognize the God in me. So I got the fuck away from you. I got to get the fuck away from you. Because you're a nigga that gut me. Because you don't recognize who you are. You can't recognize who I am. Black people, this is what they dealing with. Sure is. They can't namaste. They can't see the God in one another because they can't see the God in themselves. And that's what would happen in that reparation space. You get a little bit, see somebody a little bit more, you want to knock them down. This is what black folk do to each other. They don't respect rank. They don't respect hierarchy. That's why they tear up their own shit. And by that, I'm talking about their own movement. I'm talking about, communities. I'm talking about that's why they stuff. That's why this happened with this Freeman and all this. Look at this space right here. Be the power, right? They running down Naeem. I don't like Naeem. I don't fuck with Naeem like that. You try to put that. He pushed that kill shot on our people. He tried to shame our people for not wanting to take the vaccine. And I never. The reason why the pandemic one, the recent one. I never respected that. And he came for me for no motherfucking reason. He has me blocked for no motherfucking reason because I am 10 times smarter than him. And this is because he caught, the reason why I'm saying that is because he did insult me and did call me stupid for no reason. Did I block him back? See, I didn't even block him back because this is how much I don't give a fuck about this nigga. And he randomly did this, mind you. And mind you, we were in a group together. And mind you, he what happens is black people get threatened by each other. And so this Naeem nigga was definitely threatened by my intellect and threatened by my energy in this space. And so he wanted to be the one that was like, okay, this pushing this reparations, Freeman stuff. So they try to hurry up and get me out the paint. I never did nothing to this nigga. And so this is why niggas got his name in the title. And it's a bunch of them. And he's going to continue because he a foul ass nigga. Be the power, real name, fraudmen are treasonous dogs. Smoke out. You ain't never seen no shit like that about me. And you won't. Because you don't see people running me down like that. And to never be able to. Because my body of work speaks for itself. And I ain't no treacherous, jealous ass nigga. I ain't out here trying to do my people wrong or do anybody wrong for that matter. My first instinct is love. My next instinct is defend. Defend love. Defend righteousness. Defend myself. Defend my people. The people that fuck with me. That means fight. That means that you come for me, and I ain't do nothing to you, and I ain't do nothing but show you love, and you deceive me, I'm beating your motherfucking ass spiritually. Oh yeah, this was that sexy red thing that I saw. See, this is what they pushing on the Black American these days. Bullshit like this. And look at her doing this. This is disgusting. Let me stop being judgmental. I told myself I was not going to do that. I'm trying. But come on. Come on. Like, what is we doing here? And I understand having fun, maybe she, because I'm not a prude, so you want to have some fun, you about to have a baby or whatever. But it's like they always promote her doing some crazy shit like this. And this is a music video, I think. And they got a fresh ass baby out the cooch. And come on. Like this is, and then obviously, what the black man does and what society does, it says all black women does this. They say all black women does these things. Hell no, all black women don't do that shit. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. They want to put us all in that damn bag. Like we all act like so cute. Oh man. It's just getting bad out here. And it's by design. It's by motherfucking design. Let me get my ass off of here. I've been talking too damn long. Oh, let's see what you said. Honey, I don't check my I'll be looking at my other screen, so I'll be seeing the messages. And it says this is our chance to create a new system, a parallel economy that we control. Then they will integrate with us. Exactly, it's our time to control this whole system. This is what they don't realize. They won't succeed and only make it worse for them. Exactly. At least we got some thinking Black Americans out here. It's crazy how sleep we are. The code they have us under. Who cloned Tyrone? Exactly. So at least we got some writers. I know we do. I know it's our time. I absolutely know it's our time. So I'm gonna get my ass on up off here. 2 hours and 33 minutes. Dang. Yeah, let me give it. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I love y'all. Y'all be cool.